The mantle that Notre Dame football coaches inherit is of no small consequence. Here, the coach is part of the fabric of this place and of this sport. And so on this weekend, Notre Dame has chosen to honor a true giant of college football, a man who played for Newt Rockne and coach Vince Lombardi in the 7 blocks of granite, but whose finest moments came guiding the Fighting Irish to 5 national championships. He is Frank Leahy. Leahy's triumphs have resonated. Ask Lou Holtz. 11 years ago to the day in his first season, Holtz lost to Michigan State, today's opponent of the Fighting Irish. Losses weigh heavily on the Notre Dame sideline, and in only 2 games on the job, Bob Davie has felt the echoes of coaches past. And welcome to Notre Dame Stadium, where the 17th-ranked Spartans beat the Fighting Irish for the 61st time. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The question is, how good is this Michigan State team? Their coaches say they don't know. What we do know, though, Trump, is they have overwhelmed 2 previous opponents this season by a combined score of 84-0 in the first half. This is a physical group.
Yeah, and Nick Saban, you say he's not sure what he has. The one thing he does know is that this is the best group of athletes he'd had at Michigan State in his 3-year period. Now, last week, Notre Dame faced the fast break offense of Purdue. Today, it's the sledgehammer in the head. They feature Cedric Irvin, a 1,000-yard rusher last year, 16 touchdowns as a true freshman. He's backed up by Mark Renaud, a senior, academically ineligible in '96. He rushed for 1,000 yards in 1995. This group last year averaged 48 rushes per game. They smash you right in the mouth every down, Don.
It ain't fancy, but it works. At Notre Dame, new coach Bob Davie is already feeling the pressure. His predecessors here stood like this after their first year of coaching. Holtz and Faust both were 5 and 6. And Davie's learning the hard reality, Trump, of coaching at Notre Dame. The old adage about they're with you, win or tie.
Yeah.
There were great expectations at the outset of this season. Now there's great concern over the problems this team has.
Yeah, but you know, Don, this is not a bad football team, but it's a team without great talent. They don't have players all over the field that other teams want, and I think Bob Davie, having been here 4 years as an assistant under Lou Holtz, understands that. The reality is, Bob Davie and Notre Dame are under reconstruction. They have got to attract better athletes to Notre Dame, better skilled athletes to Notre Dame, and I think what Bob Davie has to do is he has to kind of ignore the criticism if you can and focus on the future. And I think his job here is, and I think he feels he can handle it, is another dynasty in South Bend.
His immediate job, though, is to win now. For the first time in almost 2 decades, Michigan State comes in ranked higher than the Fighting Irish, who right now aren't ranked. We'll be back to Notre Dame after these messages from your local station. Fighting Irish live, leaving their locker room, play like a champion today, something they've not done in their first 2 games. They do say that Notre Dame, Trump, has had its best week of practice since this summer drills began.
Well, I think the most important thing about the loss last week to Purdue was the manner in which Bob Davie and his coaching staff handled it. The schedule did not change. There was no yelling and screaming at the players. They were constructive, the coaching staff was. There was no pointing the fingers of, Ron Paula said, the coaches didn't hate us after we lost to Purdue. So on another little bit of the learning curve, player to coach, coach to player here at Notre Dame.
Bob Davie with his players, they'll take the field first. The Spartans, as the visitor, under Nick Saban, have chosen to come out second. Here come the Irish. Guys are pumped, Trumpy.
Well, they've said all along under Bob Davie that the fun and enthusiasm is back in football. And even though there was a loss last week, These young men here for Notre Dame, especially fifth-year senior Ron Paulus, they want the opportunity to just get out there and execute, and Davey, in fact, is giving them that opportunity.
Bob Davey, 43 years old. He'd been the defensive coordinator under Lou Holtz. And now Michigan State coming in. The Spartans overwhelming their first two opponents, Western Michigan, then Memphis. And the Spartans are ready to take the field. The deck has been stacked. Their coach Nick Saban says in the first two games we were playing at home against lesser opponents on artificial turf. Today we come into Notre Dame Stadium on grass where we've not done well. Michigan State has lost the last 8 times against Notre Dame, as you see the overall series standing. Last Spartan win at East Lansing back in 1986, so it's been a long time. In fact, Notre Dame has won 8 straight and 17 of the last 19. For more on the game, we go to the sidelines and to John Dockery. Doc?
Thank you, Crick. You know, Bob Davey and the Irish are looking for some sparks to offensive fire. They haven't had any big plays, and those sparks Bob Davey hopes will come in the person of Tony Driver, the freshman running back with breakaway speed, in the person of Jabari Holloway, the tight end who not only can catch the ball, but as importantly can run after the catch, in the person of Darcy Levy, who's a wide receiver with warp speed. Bob Davey will even dip into the defense in looking for some offense. And that's where the blur, number 15, Alam Rossin, resides. You'll see him on offense some today. Davey also hopes that Rossin will give him some impact on punt and kickoff returns. Crick and Trump, all I can say is, where are you, Tim Brown and Derek Mays in the Rocket when the Irish need you?
Somebody's got to step up today. It's an overcast day now. The weather looks fairly good, though. Temperature in the high 60s. The northern plains of Indiana were inundated with rain last night. And it turned out sunny before the game. Now a bit overcast. And there is Nick Saban, who came to Michigan State after 4 years as defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. He's done an excellent job. You see that State has not started a season 3-0 though since 1979. And Saban comes in, Trump, as you know, from the long time we spent with him, very concerned about this game despite how good his team has looked.
Yeah, I think he said it best. He said this kind of sets the tone for the rest of our football season. And he really admits, look, we're not sure what we're going to be like under pressure when things get tough. He does think, though, that there is enough leadership on this squad that, and they're not fancy in what they do, offensively or defensively. They just stand there, belt you in the mouth, hope for the best.
Bob Davey striding out to the sidelines. There's been some criticism of Davey that he doesn't seem to express a lot of emotion on the sideline. Well, neither did a lot of great coaches like Landry or Knoll, or you can name any number. Sure. But his practices have been very spirited.
Yeah, and I do think that is a plus. I think he wants his players not to get too high and too low. Keep them as even keel as possible so their performance level kind of evens out. They have had a lot of unforced errors, and Bob Davey wants to fix that. Keep the emotion in control. Michigan
State will get the ball to start the game, and they've got 2 game breakers back. Mark Renaud and Gary Scott are back to return the opening kickoff. Jansen is into the ball for the Fighting Irish, and here comes Mark Renaud from the 5-yard line. Picks up a block, open field, and Renaud in a foot race is all the way out to the Fighting Irish 44-yard line. So Michigan State opens with a bang. Making the tackle was Ty Good, who saved a touchdown.
Don, the thing to notice on this return is the 2 guys back there fight over it. Both want the opportunity. 52 yards on the return. Excellent blocking. No one has touched him yet until the tackle is made. He's across midfield. That's good starting field position, isn't it?
That's real good starting field position. The ball spotted at the Notre Dame 44-yard line. The quarterback is Todd Schultz, a 6'4" senior. A good thrower, has been troubled by knee problems, underwent 4 previous knee operations. He directs the offense, a pro set. He's the guy. Here's the pitch going to the very talented Cedric Irvin, but also a very talented defender. Benny Gilbo comes up and sticks him. And there's a loss of 3 yards on the play as we now look at the Michigan State offense. Flozell Adams, they call him Flozell the Hotel, at 6'7", 330 pounds. Scott Shaw is another standout at left guard. A big, tough offensive line. Cedric Irvin, told by us by one talent scout, is just an absolutely sensational player. He compared him to Barry Sanders, if you can imagine that, a young Barry Sanders. There is the Hotel, Flozell Adams ready to block, and Schultz rolling out. He doesn't like to run because of his knees. He throws on the run, and the ball is broken up at the 37-yard line, but a penalty marker comes in. It will be against Notre Dame. Alan Rosson looked like he was covering on the play. They were going to Octavius Long, State's fastest wide receiver.
And that's one of the things that Michigan State features with their great running game. The half rolls, the sprints, play action, really holds the defense at the line of scrimmage.
Pass interference on the defense. To spot foul. First down.
All advance from the previous spot, the previous line of scrimmage.
We can pick up any contact. Looked like it's spinning around. Hard to tell in slow motion right at the end of the play, but I think the flag is justified.
And it gives the Spartans a first down at the Notre Dame 37. Back to the run they go. Again, they try to go wide. Cedric Irvin cuts back, and he takes it to the 30-yard line. He was caught and then broke ahead for a gain of almost 7 yards before a freshman starter, Grant Irons, made the stop. Dansby, Legree, and Bennett, the down 3 linemen. Grant Irons, who was the high school defensive player of the year last year in Houston, starting at inside linebacker. Deke Cooper starts at free safety. Irish already with some injury problems early in the season. Now Gilbo has gone in to play with Addison as the deep safeties. It is 2nd and 4 for Michigan State. Handoff, and Cedric Irvin driving hard at the Notre Dame defense. Advances the ball down to the 27-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Tackled by the freshman Grant Irons, number 44.
This entire offense built around just having these running backs hide behind that huge offensive line. Now Irvin is not little, but you can see his production over the last 2 weeks. This young man is a freshman last year, 16 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards rushing, and he only started 1 game.
They like to run left on short yardage. That's where their power blockers are best, on the left side of the Michigan State line. But they go the other way. They go right, and Irvin takes it, and he's ahead for a first down to the 21-yard line. Michigan State's early advance on the Notre Dame defense set up by a breakaway run on the opening kickoff of 52 yards. Irvin has now run 4 times, Trump for 13 yards.
And then, frankly, this is the kind of offense that I think Notre Dame's defense should be good against. The smash mouth stuff. They're not big defensively, but they're not a 2-gap defense. That is, they don't. There's Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator. They don't square up on the offensive linemen. They take gaps, so they should be able to handle most of the running of Michigan State.
Here is Schultz with a straight drop, and all day long to throw the ball, which he does beautifully to his tight end, Josh Kerr, and he is down inside the 10-yard line. A 13-yard gain and a 1st and goal for Michigan State.
Again, watch how the little bit of play action, actually straight drop back, but you see the flooding of the area. Fullback out in the flat, halfback underneath, tight end right up underneath Benny Gilbo, just against the zone. A nice throwing lane for Schultz and an easy completion for the first down.
And it's first down inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal as the defensive line shifts for Notre Dame. The handoff to Renaud, and he's down close to the 5-yard line. Michigan State has never trailed this season. Notre Dame has virtually never led in 120 minutes of football against Georgia Tech and Purdue. Fighting Irish have only been ahead for 11 minutes.
How successful have the Spartans been? 9 touchdowns, 10 times inside the 20. That's a percentage that any coach at any level would be proud of.
Sherwood is the 7th play of the drive. Now comes up for Michigan State. Opening drive. Rolling out is Schultz. He throws to the end zone, and Kerr is in for a touchdown. He hits his tight end on a rollout. A beautifully executed drive by the Spartans, and Michigan State takes the ball right down the field, and Notre Dame, which came out a mile high, looked like it was a national championship game the way the Irish were up and down, now are rocked back on their heels again, on the ropes early. Nick Saban's team has done the job on offense, keyed by a 52-yard kickoff return. Josh Kerr, a senior tight end from Muskegon, Michigan, and the scoring end of the Schultz throw. Chandler hits the point after, and out from Bob Davie, finds his team behind again, and the Irish will get the ball and have to answer when we come back to South Bend. Spartans ready to kick off as they lead 7-0. Back at Notre Dame, Gardner ready to kick off. Alan Rosson, Notre Dame's best returner, ready to receive as the Spartans lead 7-0. Rosson from the 7. And an excellent special teams play by Michigan State throws him back after a short return.
Alan Rosson on the return.
10-yard return was all.
This is what set up the touchdown. This great return by Renaud. Excellent job by the special teams, and in a lot of instances the special teams set the tone, the feeling for the game. The net result, watch this counter play, this counter fake that's handled beautifully by Michigan State. Schultz rolls out, hits the tight end, but you see what it does to Dansby, 51, draws him inside just enough. Kerr makes the catch. Frankly, a pretty easy score.
It was a 7-play drive, 44 yards, a 5-yard touchdown throw on the payoff end. It was a pretty easy drive, and now the Notre Dame offense tries to counter. Pitch back to Denson. He turns it up and out, and Denson is across the 20-yard line and out close to the 25. So Denson breaks very close to a 10-yard run on Notre Dame's first play. Robert Smith stopped him. Pettigrew starts at left tackle. Clevenger's out with a back problem. Veteran offensive line, Rosenthal, the junior preseason All-American at right guard. Denson in good speed, the runners behind Paulus. A rookie first-year player, Jabari Holloway, starts at tight end.
Gain of 10.
Riverdale, Georgia, so he gets a big assignment today.
Right behind the post there, Jim Toledo, the offensive coordinator. This is his first game upstairs. He's still teaching these kids the offense. Has been downstairs for the first 2 games of the season.
And on that run front, Denson did get 10 when they spot the ball. First down, Notre Dame. Back to Denson as he breaks through the Michigan State defense and gets ahead to the 35-yard line. A 9-yard gain on the play. So Notre Dame comes out running and very well as we look at the defensive front of Michigan State. Big, tough tackles, both 285. There are speed rushers at defensive ends in Underwood and Smith. Garland starts at middle linebacker. Ike Reese, one of the co-captains, a 4-year starter, is probably the best defender in there. Amp Campbell, excellent corner. Notre Dame now goes 2nd down and 1. Or Denson, and he takes a hard strike as Denson is hit by Courtney Ledyard. But he does get ahead for a first down as we go back down to John Dockery.
Don, Bob Davie did something a little unusual before the game. He asked everybody to leave the locker room. Coaches, staff, administrative people, and he stayed in there with his players and himself and read them the riot act. Made them know how important this game was, how much pride was on the line, and what they needed to do. Back up to you.
Good report, Doc, but they are down 7-0. Michigan State looking good as they have all season long, and here is a handoff as Denson cuts back. On a first down carry, he's to the 42-yard line, where he is taken down by the free safety, Sony Canoe.
Don, I'm reminded of something that Bob Davie told us yesterday in his office. He said the problem so far this season is that everything has been uphill for us. Nothing has been easy, and they start down 7-0, opening drive by Michigan State. They're uphill again. He has great faith and confidence in these football players, but it's no fun playing from behind.
And they need the big play on offense to get back in. And here's a throw by Paulus, beautifully executed as Bobby Brown coming off the flank. Ray Hill was defending. He might have got a hand on the ball.
One of the things that the Notre Dame receivers will face all day long is going to be tight coverage. This is not bump and run, but you do see the corner. He'll come up. He didn't put his hand on Bobby Brown, but it's a good call to try a slant in here. But now here's the first big down of the game offensively for Notre Dame. 3rd and, shall we say, 6 or 6 plus?
Yeah, just over 6 yards. Ball spotted at the 42-yard line. Nick Saban Spartans with a 52-yard kickoff return that they subsequently, 7 plays later, turned into a touchdown. Paulus on 3rd down takes a look. Go to the wrong side of his tight end, the freshman Jabari Holloway. So the Irish move the ball well, but then stop on third down. That's what's been killing them, unable to convert third down.
Holloway's going to come across here, and Ron Paulus throws it behind him. Holloway is wide open. Generally, this season, Paulus has been very accurate. That is totally on Ron Paulus. Almost unaccounted for. I mean, how do you figure that? I mean, that's a play you put in on third down and medium yardage. You practice it all week.
Now Hunter Smith punts the ball for Notre Dame. Back deep is the excellent runner Cedric Irvin. They get him back at the 5, then he breaks it. Irvin's in open field as again Michigan State gets a terrific return. Cedric Irvin was locked up tight, it looked like, back at the 5, but he breaks it away. Finally tackled as it's a 52-yard punt, a 22-yard return. Back at Notre Dame, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and John Dockery. Michigan State leading 7-0 with 9:16 to play in the first quarter. Now goes 1st and 10 from the Spartans' 27-yard line. For the run they go, and Cedric Irvin breaks tackles and gets ahead for a gain of almost 7 yards. They'll spot him down at the 34-yard line. As coming in to make the tackle was Deke Cooper.
You're going to see the old counter play that the running back takes a step that way, sets up the blocking to the play, and watch the way the guard and the tight end do an excellent job. Oh, a big hit by the tight end on Friday. Knocks him off his feet, and a nice 7-yard pickup.
He blew up Jimmy Friday on that block. And the Spartans are move ahead. Now they go to second down and back to the power run. And this time Notre Dame is there to stop Irvin for no gain. It'll be third down and a long 3. Tackled by the nose tackle, Lance Legree, number 90. Nick Saban. Against Western Michigan and Memphis, who did their best against, they were so badly outmanned, but now against Notre Dame, they do the same thing.
Yeah, well, the first 2 weeks, it's 2 different flavors of Jell-O. That's what they played. Notre Dame is not Jell-O, but you're right, Michigan State with continued success.
Big down here, though. Third down for the Spartans. Schultz at quarterback. Takes a drop, again gets time, searches out a receiver, fires, and the ball is taken in. It is a reception by Michigan State. Gary Scott coming off the flank, a 6'1" wide receiver, very tough. He'll run into traffic and catch the ball, makes the third down catch, first down.
Don Schultz, the quarterback, had all day to throw this football. This is not a sophisticated pattern, but look, there is no pressure from anyone. He's standing back there, and actually the receiver does an excellent job,
he did,
Gary Scott, of going up and getting it away from Allen Rossum.
Well, the Spartans keep the drive alive now and work from their 42-yard line. End off. They go to Mark Renaud, and he breaks it. And down to the 48-yard line goes Renaud. Is on a first down carry. He's again head for a gain of almost 9 yards. And it was a safety again and made the tackle Benny Gilbo.
Last week, Renaud had 12 carries for 71 yards. You can see that you've got their best running back on the sideline. He roots the other guy on. He told us that he committed to no less than 6 Division I football teams, but certainly likes it at Michigan State.
That was Irvin, yeah. Instead of saying I do, he said you'll do to 6 schools. But the Spartans got him, a tremendous player, and so is his backup as they go back to Mark Renaud running near side, and he breaks it all the way down to the 34-yard line of Notre Dame. So a 15-yard gain and another Spartan first down.
Again, you're going to see the strength of the offensive line here at Michigan State is Adams 76, 73 Shaw. They run a little fold. Just you see Corey Bennett just get folded. The corner is captured. And I'm telling you, this is what Bob Davie and Notre Dame is going to face all day long. If you don't slow this running game down, they'll run it 60 times.
Well, here's another one. Back they go to Renaud, who steps over a tackler and powers his way inside the 25-yard line. First down carry, got about 10 yards. An excellent block on the play by the right guard, Sean Mason.
And you see Renaud goes to the sideline. Irvin comes in as a running back from behind the offense. Just straight ahead blocking. Excellent job by the fullback on the linebacker. 41 gets a big block. These fullbacks, that was Travis Reese. These fullbacks that Michigan State have, they wear fullback numbers, but they're really guards.
They're big, they can all block, and they lead the blocking again as Cedric Irvin takes it up the middle and down inside the 15-yard line, down to the 13. for Ivory Covington and Benny Gilbo. Again, defensive backs making the tackle for Notre Dame.
Don, consider that Michigan State in 1996 gained 200 or more yards 8 times. They were 6-2 in those games. And as we said in the opening, they averaged 48 rushes a game in 1996, and that's the way you control the tempo, you control the attitude, the line of scrimmage, you win football games.
And they're doing that already. Renaud and Irvin between them have 11 rushes. The Spartans looking to put the knockout punch on early. Their quarterback Todd Schultz told us, we want to explode on Notre Dame early in the game, and so far Michigan State's been doing just that. The fullback gets it, Travis Reese. Not a lot happening for Travis as he's taken down after a loss of a yard, as we had outside linebacker Corey Minor and nose tackle Lance Legree on the stop.
Yeah, but you know, that handoff to the fullback, I mean, that's just to keep the defense honest. Corey Minor is one of the few guys up front that has any experience, he and Dansby. And that's just keep the fullback interested in what's going on. Threaten the defense with the fullback dive, but they're going to get most of their yardage pitching it to the tailbacks. Power blocking for the tailbacks.
Fullback appreciates it. He doesn't get it
Sure
much.
he does, yeah.
With these tailbacks. Irvin now goes in motion. 33, the best back for Michigan State. Schultz takes a look, fires hard. He gets his tight end, and Kerr is down to the 1-yard line. Josh Kerr, who caught the touchdown pass off the opening drive, now makes a brilliant reception. Deke Cooper almost had the ball, but it went through his hands.
Again, almost the same play in the first drive. You've got the halfback out in the flat, the fullback up underneath. There's zone coverage, a nice little turnout by the tight end, a good completion by Schultz, and they're knocking on the door again.
And as we mentioned, Trump, at the outset, Michigan State outscored its 2 previous opponents by a combined score of 84-0 in the first half. And it's heading that way again unless Notre Dame can stop the bleeding, get a tourniquet put on this. Todd Schultz going over the top. There's no touchdown signal, but he has to have the ball very close to the goal line. Look, he might have gotten in, but there's no signal.
See if we can see if they're pretty long body, 6'5". It looks like he's over the goal line, but they get another shot at it from point blank range.
Second down and goal. Schultz over the top, and Todd Schultz, the senior quarterback from Morris, Illinois, is in the end zone. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Spartans, as now they look to extend it to a 14-0 lead. And again, Bob Davie and his Fighting Irish are on the ropes early.
Nice tall quarterback. Really no resistance there from the Notre Dame front 3 or 4. He just kind of falls over the collapsed pile for an easy score.
The Spartans, a tremendous looking football team, as the extra point is boomed up and through. Michigan State looking to turn around their fortunes against Notre Dame after losing 17 of the last 19, but it's in a different story today.
Alabama 9.
It's been awesome for Michigan State and brutal for Notre Dame, as the Spartans 18 offensive plays, 117 yards, and a 14-0 lead.
And Bob Davie is challenging his young men on the sideline. That's the defensive side of the ball.
Ball taken at the 13-yard line, as the Fighting Irish now looking to break a big return. Coming around the end is Deveron Harper, and the young cornerback. And up back on kick return gives Notre Dame fairly good field position, and they need it. NBC's premiere week starts Monday with 5 nights of all-new must-see comedy. All your favorites will be back with all new episodes, plus ER premieres with a live broadcast. Don't miss a minute. NBC premiere week starting Monday. Alan Rossum has come in on the offense now. He'll be a wide receiver. Actually slotted out to the top of the screen. Notre Dame's fastest player with Getherall, the freshman, out with an injury. Getherall will be back next week for the Michigan game. Notre Dame needing downfield plays. And there is Autry Denson breaking a first down carry for 5 yards. So Notre Dame has been able to crack the defense for running yards early in the drives.
But Don, again, the problem that Notre Dame faces offensively is you can put pressure on Paulus and stop Autry Denson. You basically neutralize Notre Dame's offense. So in putting Alan Rossum on the field, they're trying to at least put other weapons out there for a defense to be concerned about. Rossum in one play, makes the block, comes off.
Brief appearance. He'll be back, though. He does it all. Cornerback, kick return, spending some time as a wide receiver. On 2nd down and 5, Paulus with a good fake, buys himself some time, but has to throw the ball away as the big rush was on. Demetrius Underwood, number 99, a very fast defensive end, puts the heat on Ron Paulus, who's now 0 for 3 Trump throwing the ball.
They had a double tight end formation, tried to get Paulus out on the edge of the defense and get the ball to one of the 2 tight ends. Good coverage by Michigan State. And at this point, the only thing the Irish have been able to do offensively is run the ball.
Now we have the ominous 3rd down again. Jabari Holloway, you just saw, number 87, the freshman starting at tight end. He was wide open on a previous 3rd down, but they missed him. Paulus threw behind him. Paulus with a straight drop, stands in, fires the ball, makes the connection. It's a 1st down for Notre Dame as Ray Hill makes the stop. But coming off the flank was Malcolm Johnson. 13-yard gain.
One of the things that I think has been changed dramatically in this Notre Dame offense is that last week, even though Notre Dame lost, 9 different receivers caught passes. That is a huge step in the right direction. Johnson absorbs the contact there on the bump and run. Nice crossing pattern. Decent catch for a nice 1st down pickup.
Here's Autry Denson on a 1st down play, and Notre Dame is unable to unlock the Spartan defense on that sweep, as Denson is cut down for no gain at the Michigan State 47 by Robert Smith.
And Nick Saban's idea defensively here against Autry Denson is don't give him the corner. I think that's one of the reasons why Notre Dame's success running the ball has been straight ahead. They do not want Autry Denson out on the perimeter of the defense.
State pitching 1st half shutouts this season. Denson running well, 6 carries, 31 yards for Notre Dame. Paulus again off a long count with a straight drop. Standing in, releases the ball. Well thrown. It's a connection down to the 36-yard line. Bobby Brown, Notre Dame's leading receiver, makes his 15th catch of the year. And Amp Campbell defending against him. Campbell told us point blank, he said, we don't respect the receivers. They're very average.
And you see the bump and run again, up pressing the receivers. Brown does an excellent job, a very, very good job of handling that pressure on the cornerback. And again, Paulus shuffles forward to avoid any pressure, makes a nice completion. Well done, another 1st down.
Notre Dame setting up to run as they bring in a 300-pound tight end and Tim Ritter, who's been moved over from offensive tackle. And to the run they go as Denson breaks it, but not for much. He's down to the Spartan 35-yard line. Robert Smith on the stop. As we go back to Doc on the sidelines.
You know what strikes me, Crick and Trump, about it? You walk along the sidelines of Notre Dame and you see absolutely no fire, no emotion. I know they're down 14-0, but even before that, I mentioned that Bob Davie had that players-only meeting in the hopes of reaching their emotions. Well, apparently he hasn't. And he's still looking for a spark, for someone to step up and take some leadership here. So far, it's just dead along the sidelines for the Irish.
Pete Govins, a defensive tackle, shaken up on the last play. So one of the Spartans' best down linemen on defense is attended to. And we take this break. Big Pete Govins walked off the field with a little help. He apparently twisted a knee, Trump, on that last play. Didn't appear to be blocked on the side by anybody. But they put a guy in that might be better, Robert Newkirk, who was suspended for the first 2 games by Coach Saban for violation of team rules. But he's back now, and he's very good, number 62 in the game. So Notre Dame goes 2nd and 9. Paulus with a throw. Again, he comes to the wrong side of his receiver as he tried to hit his fullback, Joey Goodspeed. Eric Morris, the strong safety covering.
Say Goodspeed just runs a little flat. Ball not thrown very well. Out of round, very difficult ball to catch. The other thing is the Notre Dame offense has struggled with a lack of big plays, but you see the receivers going to the sideline. They catch the ball standing still, nothing moving, and that certainly doesn't hurt. And it doesn't help trying to get big plays out of these receptions.
No, it does not. And they need a big play now. It's 3rd down and 9 as the Spartans align to blitz. Middle backer set to shoot. Here he comes. They pick it up. Paulus takes a look. He fires, and he's not close to Bobby Brown. As Michigan State had the receiver shut off, no flags, and so Notre Dame again fails on 3rd down. It was Tyrone Garland, the middle backer, blitzing.
This is an 8-man rush. Actually, it's picked up pretty darn well, but Paulus couldn't find anybody open down the field. There were only 3 guys back in coverage, and they were able to cover those guys down the field. So a 3rd down opportunity missed.
Hunter Smith in punt formation for the Irish.
And Hunter Smith, one of Notre Dame's best players, a junior punter from Sherman, Texas, ready to hit the ball down to the ever-dangerous Cedric Irvin. As the Spartans with a 14-0 lead, 1:56 to play in the first half. A high punt by Smith. It arcs down, though, and it is it held out. It might be down at the... Now they're signaling touchback. 35-yard punt. And it will come out to the Spartan 20-yard line, where Michigan State will go 1st and 10. Follow Notre Dame football online at NBCSports.com. Our own John Dockery provides game analysis. Also, flip through the pages of our interactive digital playbook, where we break down the Irish offense frame by frame. Plus, listen to audio clips of Ron Paulus, Newt Rockney's famous locker room speech, and more. It's all on NBCSports.com. So far, Bob Davies' offense has broken down on 3rd down, whereas the Spartans, in the words of their quarterback, Todd Schultz, wanted to explode on Notre Dame, and they have. Handoff up the middle. Cedric Irvin runs the ball to the 25-yard line, and it will be a gain of about 4.
And again, just the power run by the Michigan State Spartans. Nothing fancy here. They do pull the right guard. He leads up through the hole, but you see Notre Dame Irish players on the ground. That's Irvin's 8th carry now, and there's still 1:22 to go in the first quarter.
Notre Dame has defeated Michigan State 8 straight times, but there was a time when Notre Dame was dominated in this series by State. The Duffy Doherty, the Spartans won 8 straight during one's back. And here was a throw to the flat to Gary Scott. And the wide receiver turning out is Schultz, looking very good on the rollout throw, triggering the ball right on target. And it's a 1st down for the Spartans, tackled by Alan Rossen, who's had trouble covering Scott.
And again, this is zone, and again, just a nice little half roll by the quarterback, just gives him a nice lane to the receiver. And you see that knee brace on his left knee. He's had 3 surgeries on that knee in the last 12 months and is back playing.
And he's passing beautifully. Todd Schultz has thrown 5 times, has completed all 5 for 46 yards. High back, takes the ball. And Cedric Irvin working hard on 1st down, gets ahead for maybe 3 yards before the linebackers get him. It's Ronnie Nix was on the stop. Jimmy Friday.
Ronnie Nix.
Todd Schultz's numbers very good, and now Jarvis Edison on the field.
They need his tackling. He's got a kind of a gimpy ankle, but he's a big safety. They need him in there for his tackling.
On 2nd down and a long 6, they get Irvin for a gain of only a yard. The ball advanced to the 38-yard line of the Spartans as the first quarter clock now ticks down to 20 seconds to play in it. Michigan State with 78 rushing yards in this first quarter. The Fighting Irish with just 33. Virtually all of them by Autry Denson, who's run for over 5 yards a carry when he's been in. And that will do it for the first 15 minutes, and a resounding first quarter win for the Spartans as they dominate 14-0 at this point. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium, where the Spartans of Michigan State lead Notre Dame 14-0. And along the sidelines, number 92 Pete Govins has ice on his knee, probably will not return, most likely will not return. Frick?
Hey, Doc, and now a big play in this game as the Spartans have a 3rd down and 6. They're 37. Schultz, who's not missed a pass, is really hammered there, and the coverage is good as they finally get the rush to him. He was going at Richardson but couldn't complete it, and for the first time the Spartans have to punt the ball.
Actually, excellent coverage by Devin Harper. This is really a hand fight. Look at all the contact here. Harper on the inside. Schultz still tries to get the ball to him. Excellent coverage, and you're right, the first time that Michigan State has stopped.
But they haven't been stopped on offense before this, leading 14-0. The Michigan State defense has scored 3 touchdowns this year, none today. The Notre Dame offense has only scored 2. None today as the punt is hit downfield. Ettinger's punt. Allen Rossum coming up on the ball, living dangerously. Rossum gets the ball and then takes a couple of hard shots and is knocked down at the 15-yard line. 49-yard punt on the return, just 2 yards. Very good special teams play by Michigan State. Join us next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Time, 11 Pacific, as Tiger Woods leads the Americans into Ryder Cup play at Valderrama, Spain. And then on Sunday, join us at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And here's a time change for our friends on the West Coast. 5 a.m. Pacific for live coverage of the final day of the Ryder Cup. That's all next weekend here on NBC. Right now, Paulus and the Fighting Irish starting from deep in their own end at the 15-yard line. Needing big plays. They go to the run, and Denson, who's run well, does so again as he gets out close to the 19-yard line. Good block from Ken Berry on the play.
That's the one running play that's worked for Notre Dame so far in this first half. Little counter, fullback lead, but in total yardage, Michigan State in control.
Spartans with over double the total offense. With the big numbers, the bottom line, and it's 14-0 Michigan State. As Nick Saban's Spartans coming in here playing great football. On second down, a good play fake by Paulus, gets some time, looks for an open man and has one, and he is almost picked off. He was looking again at the freshman tight end Jabari Holloway, who was open. Then Amp Campbell recovered and blocked the pass. 2 of 8 is Ron Paulus throwing the ball from.
And Ron Paulus was a little late on that delivery. Holloway was open early. Paulus not set to the point where he could really look down the field and make the pass, and not good numbers for Ron Paulus, especially when last week he was sensational against Purdue, even though they lost.
Yeah, Paulus came in with his best passing numbers. He finished the day at West Lafayette, 297 yards passing. He's completed 68% so far this season coming into this game, and many were dropped. And today he's been off target. Now on second down, he takes a look. Looking to buy time. Paulus is on the run. Got nobody to go to, and Ron Paulus runs it himself, and he takes it to the 27-yard line. Hit hard. Ron Paulus has a first down for Notre Dame as Ty Garland, the middle backer, and Ray Hill, a cornerback, both got him hard.
A lot of quarterbacks, when they get to the sideline, they step out. Not Ron Paulus. As throughout his career, certainly displayed an awful lot of toughness, and Ray Hill really hammered him. Paulus gets up, goes back to the huddle, calls the next play.
Rakai Nelson now comes in as a wide receiver. Fighting Irish convert on a Ron Paulus desperation scramble. Newkirk getting penetration as a defensive tackle. Denson with a good move to the outside, and he's tripped up. Eric Morris making the low tackle, and a very good one, and there's actually a loss of a couple yards on the play.
There's always a lot of great players, previous Notre Dame Irish quarterbacks to compare this year or next year's quarterback with. But in touchdowns to interceptions, look at Ron Paulus. Double. Look at Joe Theismann. -4. Montana even. Rather remarkable record.
Stats didn't matter with Super Joe, who only started one season at Notre Dame, his senior year, where he started from start to finish. And that one season, they won a national championship. 77. Here's Paulus now on second and long, taking a look, throwing an out pattern. He's got a guy, but again coming in a bit behind his receiver, Denson, who makes a falling down catch. That brings up third down and about 6.
Halfback out of the backfield, and you're right. But again, a point to make here is the reception is made, but the receiver's not running. It's underthrown just enough that he has to come back to get it. No chance for a big play when you're on the ground.
And Notre Dame so badly in need of big plays. Coach Nick Saban said in assessing them, they have shown no propensity, no indication they have a big play in their offense. Yetherall, their fastest player, was in there, but now on the third down coming up, Paulus drops to throw again, fires hard, a connection is made, but it's well short of the first down. So on a play where they need 6, they get a 3-yard route run, and Ike Reese is quickly there to shut it down. That brings up third down. Actually fourth down. That's what we thought. They finally changed the marker, and Notre Dame will not gamble. They've had problems on fourth down this season, going for it. Like Coach Saban wants to get up there and cover a kick.
Well, he might tape an ankle or two, depending upon the opponent.
Hunter Smith is in. And now we have Cedric Irvin back to return the punt for Michigan State. Another long booming punt that drives Irvin back to his 15-yard line. Special teams play very good on this one for Notre Dame, as the 49-yard punt is followed by a return of just 4 yards. So the Spartans get ready to go on offense again when we come back to Notre Dame. Golden Dome shining in the September sunlight, but it's been the Michigan State Spartans who've been shining here today, leading 14-0 with first down coming up. Handoff. Breaking tackles is Mark Renaud at 190 pounds. Trump not as big as the other backs, but he's got a lot of tackle breaking power.
But you see the game plan here. Michigan State doesn't care if you know what's coming next or what they ran last. They have great faith in the left side of their offensive line with Shaw and the hotel. Flozell Adams. Hey, just if you can't stop us or slow us down, we're just going to keep hammering right at you.
Renaud actually has better numbers than Irvin. 5 carries for 41. Play fake. Schultz rolling out. He has time to look. Now he has to throw downfield, and he comes in high. And a penalty marker comes in way after the play as Schultz was taken down by Lamont Bryant after he released the ball.
Foolish mistake.
Penn State, which later this season will play at Michigan State, rolling today. So far this season, Michigan State is
roughing the passer on the defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
It was a big mistake.
This is foolish. On the rollout, the ball is already gone. He could have gone by me, put his hand up on his helmet. That's an easy penalty to call.
And it keeps the Spartan drive alive as Michigan State now has the ball out across its 38-yard line. In the first half so far this season, Nick Saban's Spartans have outscored their opposition 98-0. 10:29 to play in this first half. Handoff Renaud. They can't tackle him. He's 5'10", 190, but somehow he swivels those hips and shakes off tacklers, and finally Ronnie Nick's got him down, but he did it downfield again.
Again, now watch the left side of this offensive line of Michigan State. Shaw pulls, the tight end kind of turns out a little bit, and again, you've got defensive backs making the tackle here. Now 6 carries for 48 yards. I mean, they're just removing defensive linemen from Notre Dame.
Michigan State playing like the buses are started, running the clock with this running game and holding a 14-0 lead. Renaud again takes a head-on shot from Notre Dame's best defensive player, Corey Minor, and still gets ahead to the 49-yard line for a first down.
And Don, I repeat something I said in the opening. This is the most physical football team that Notre Dame will play this season. And they also play Michigan, and they also play Stanford. It's by design. It's absolutely on purpose. Whenever you have a head coach who is a defensive style coach, Greg Madison being one, when they turn head coach, they want to run the ball and stop the run. That's always the theory, the philosophy of head coaches who are formerly from the defensive side of the ball.
Now the Notre Dame defense challenged again as Schultz hands off, and again they break the run to the Spartans as Cedric Irvin on 1st and 10 breaks it ahead for a gain of almost 11 yards. Michigan State first down.
This game is simple. The football is a foot long. If you can control that 1 foot of the football field, you win. And Michigan State, on 90% of the plays to this point in the first half, have controlled that 1 foot, that line of scrimmage.
And the laws of physics, Trump, coming into play here. Michigan State's offensive line averages 300 pounds. Notre Dame's defensive line, its biggest player is 275. Dansby, the most are around 255, 260. They're much smaller, and it's showing as Michigan State again goes to the run, and Cedric Irvin showing his whole bag of tricks. Every move he's got gets him down to the 29-yard line. Another first down carry. Another first down run for Michigan State.
Young man shows terrific instinct here. He's going to. It gets a little crowded. It's originally designed to go up through the middle. And watch a little move there. He freezes Ivory Covington 14, then accelerates again. I mean, this is something that is you can't teach. And this young man, just a true sophomore, he is a real piece of art carrying the ball.
Yeah, he's been described by talent scouts as a super exceptional player. That time he lost his footing on the cutback move. The Spartans have not won in their last 9 games on a natural grass field like this. They're 0-8-1 on grass. But they're playing like they're back at Spartan Stadium on the artificial turf.
5'2", 7'6", 5.3 yards per rush. 23 carries now to just 6 passes for Michigan State. 2 of those passes of the 6 completions went for touchdowns. Excuse me, 1 went for a touchdown. These are going the Spartans' way, aren't they?
Another almost did. They got it down point blank range, and the quarterback took it in himself as he now throws to Cedric Irvin, showing everything he's got as he comes out of the backfield and catches the ball well and advances it inside the Notre Dame 25-yard line, down close to the 22.
Yeah, we're raving about Irvin. Not only was he the leading rusher for Michigan State last year, but he was their 2nd leading receiver. Again, as a true freshman. Nothing seems to bother the young man. Where's 33 for Tony Dorsett?
That was his hero growing up.
Yeah, Michigan State certainly glad that when he flipped that coin, Michigan State came up heads or tails, but he was off to East Lansing.
The Michigan State offensive coordinator Gary Tranquil, the former coach at Navy, said we're not good enough to throw if we have to. But they sure are good throwing when they don't have to, as Schultz has hit almost everything. Now he goes to the run. It is Renard, the tackle breaker, busting into the Notre Dame defense to the 19-yard line. First down Spartans with 7:52 to play in the first half.
Nice fake by Schultz, the quarterback. You're going to see him. You're going to see him turn this way. Draws everybody in. The guard pulls. Watch the fullback out in front of him, Reese. Excellent block. Kicks out the cornerback of Johnny Sander. And Renaud with that great running back instinct right up underneath the block for another first down.
Now the Spartans challenging again with their power offense, led by the left side. Adams and Shaw. And here's another run. Mark Renard turns it up, knocked out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. On first down, he got almost 5. The left guard, number 73 for Michigan State, Scott Shaw, left the hospital after he was born weighing 4 pounds. He now weighs 305 with a 21-inch neck and a 60-inch chest. So Trumpy, he growed up good, didn't he? His teammate told him,
yeah,
you growed up good.
He has not missed a meal in a long time. Let's put it that way. Been a weightlifter since early in high school and is a legitimate pro prospect. And when you put him next to the hotel, they just about blot out the sun if you're going the wrong direction.
You talked about Michigan State's power at the outset, and play after play, it's in evidence as Renaud runs the ball. This is the way it used to be back in the 50s when Coach Doherty brought in his Spartans. Just unbelievable execution and power in those great Michigan State teams.
And of course, when you start the game and you're running the ball well, then there's no reason to change personality. Bob Davie knows that. This is a head coach, an opponent, a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare, because if they control that line of scrimmage, you have to be so basic in your defensive approach. You can't commit an extra blitz guy because one missed tackle, touchdown. So Gaddison's he's got to play it very honest here because this is such a powerful run game.
Overwhelming, and in this drive, this is the 11th play. The previous 10 plays, 9 have been rushes, 1 a pass. And now we have a timeout signaled on the field with 6:36 to play. Looked like Michigan State made its first mistake. They took too long.
5 yards on the offense, still third down.
That is the only thing that Nick Saban has to complain about in this first half.
Coach Saban talked that explode on Notre Dame theme all week long. And it's 14-0. Spartans scoring on their first 2 possessions of this game. Really, it was almost like the Ohio State game here last year when the Buckeyes return the opening kickoff.
Don, Schultz is on the sideline. The play clock is running. There was no timeout there. And now Michigan State has to take a timeout. Nick Saban thought there was a timeout. Schultz standing there on the sideline consulting. A wasted timeout.
And back to Notre Dame. Don Criqui with Bob Crumpy and John Dockery. 6:36 to play in the first half. The Spartans of Michigan State with an overpowering running game. They've run the ball 26 times in the first half. They lead 14-0, and they're challenging for more as Schultz throws, and the ball is separated from the receiver. On a good hit by cornerback Ivory Covington, number 14, the man who made the $7 million tackle for Notre Dame a couple of years ago against Army.
Ball was intended for Octavius Long. Excellent coverage. Just as the ball gets there, the ball is knocked away, and all set up by that penalty. When you've got a big running offense, any penalty hurts, and it certainly hurt Michigan State there.
Covington made the tackle on Lashinsky, the Army tight end, on a 2-point try. It would have won the game for the Cadets and cost Notre Dame a $7 million bowl, but he stopped him short of the goal line. But they don't stop Michigan State on the drive as the Spartans come away with more points, albeit a field goal, to lead 17-0.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium, where the Spartans of Michigan State are on top of the Irish 17-0. And that's Amp Campbell, the fine left cornerback for the Spartans, on the sideline. He has a strained left quad muscle, and there's a question of whether he'll continue to play. Back to you.
Okay, Doc, here comes Alan Rossum. At a time Notre Dame needs a big play, he starts out with one and gets the ball across the 25-yard line from his own end zone and out to the 27. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll announce the Chevrolet MVPs for each team. It's a tough vote for Michigan State. They're all good.
Well, tough vote for both sides. There's a 6:16 to go here in the first half. Notre Dame now must begin to take some chances. Be a little more wide open. They can't just keep running it. They're going to have to try to get the ball down the field as best they can.
Notre Dame with an eye set in the backfield. Will they throw on first down? Down 17-0 with 6:15 to play in the half. Paulus buys time with a good fake. Makes the throw. Connects out to the 42-yard line. A very good throw to Bobby Brown. A 15-yard gain and a Fighting Irish first down.
That's a nice big confidence builder for Brown. Big hit as he comes across the middle. The collision is going to take place right up here. Little play action fake to Autry Denson. Paulus does a good job of looking all over the field. Puts it right between two defenders. Nice completion.
And now Tony Driver's in the game for the first time today. A freshman from Louisville, a first-team high school All-American runner. One of Notre Dame's fastest players. He's the I-back, and there's the pitch to Driver. Tony Driver goes over the top and gets a hit for about 2 or 3 yards. Stopped by Garland, the state middle linebacker.
Well, we certainly talked about the problems that Notre Dame has had. Look at here, the longest run, over 20 yards by Paulus. Only 2 receptions over 20 yards for the entire season. And you can certainly see why. Most of these receivers are catching the ball either just as they're hit or falling down or going to the sideline. No big plays yet.
Now, as Saban said, they have not shown the ability to make any all season long. Now on second down in a long 7, Paulus fires the out pattern, makes the connection, and the ball is advanced to about the 46-yard line as Tony Driver coming out of the backfield, number 25. He is a game breaker, was the Kentucky State 100 and 200 meter dash champion, and has really shown right from the outset of summer training. And now he comes off the field after getting the ball the last 2 downs. Third down.
But Don, again, he was the outlet receiver. The underneath guy, nobody moving, just going to the sideline. A consistent problem.
State getting a lot of push from its front 4. Haven't had a blitz a lot. On a third down play, 3rd and 6. Wallace looks downfield at 3 wide receivers running patterns, but Ron Paulus somehow gets free, gets the ball away to Bobby Brown, but there's only a gain of 2 yards and they needed 6. So the Irish, with Paulus really working hard to escape the sack, still is unable to get the first down yardage with the throw.
The pressure comes from number 99, Demetrius Underwood, and just flushes Paulus ever so slightly, destroys the timing of the play. Well, does an excellent job to get the ball up and make a completion, but fourth down.
Fourth down it is, as the punter Hunter Smith is back on the field for Notre Dame. And so is the great Cedric Irvin to return it, standing back at his 10. Hunter again booms a long punt. It drives Irvin back to the 4. Cedric Irvin is knocked out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. So the Spartans will have the ball with 3:38 to play in the first half, holding to a 17-0 lead after a 13-yard return by Irvin. .338 to play, and now a bright sunny day here in northern Indiana, but not for the Fighting Irish. Their gold helmets glistening, but the Michigan State Spartans have been superb as they go back to the run. Taking it straight at Notre Dame, they run the ball out to the 23-yard line on a first down carry. And again, they get about 7 on the run play. The stop by a Johnny Sanders, one of the safeties. Here's the offensive leaders from
Renaud doing an excellent job. The thing I noticed too about these two running backs with Irvin and Renaud, excellent cutback runners. So Notre Dame is stopping a lot of these runs at the point of attack, but the running backs are gifted enough that they slide back behind the blocking and pick up additional yards.
They have a great ability to change directions, as Renaud is looking to do now. When we met with Nick Saban at East Lansing, we asked him if there's anything about his team that concerns him. He said, well, last year we didn't handle adversity well. One bad play might carry over to the next. In fact, in their last big game, Michigan State was blasted by Stanford 38-0 in a bowl game. But this season, not for even a single moment have the Spartans had any adversity.
Yeah, just to continue on your line of thought, he said, we're not good. We've got that front runner's mentality. You know, we can't finish the job. Well, at least we couldn't in 1996. But look, when you get 6 yards on 1st and 10, 3 more on 2nd and 4, and you got 3rd and 1. There's not a lot of worries offensively here for Michigan State.
None that we can decipher.
No. The only problem they've had so far is they drove from East Lansing down here last night in the rain.
Yeah. Well, now they have a short drive for the first down, less than a foot. And Schultz, who scored a touchdown on an over-the-top quarterback keep for the Spartans' second score in the first quarter, does it again and gets the first down. So Michigan State, with not great rushing numbers from the quarterback, 3 carries for 2 yards, but one's for a touchdown, the other's for a first down.
15 first downs, 192 yards. We got 2:46 to go in the first half.
Ball spotted at the 26-yard line of the Spartans.
And Don, Notre Dame's rush defense not that bad. This rush offense is that good.
This Michigan State team a real contender, maybe to play in the final bowl game for a national title. Corey Minor makes a stop for a loss. So there's 5 teams this year that could end up winning the Big Ten. Michigan State is obviously outstanding. So is Penn State and the University of Michigan. Ohio State's good again, and Iowa has a tremendous team.
Yeah, you know, the thing I like too about Michigan State, they've run the ball so much in this first half. No holding penalties, not an offsides, nobody's jumped early. You think they haven't been schooled by Gary Tranquill, the offensive coordinator, Nick Saban? Hold your poise, we're big enough to get the job done.
Poised and powerful are the Spartans, and more of that power run as this time Notre Dame had it shut off, and then the carry by Cedric Irvin is finally taken down by defensive end Mel Dansby, with a big block on the play by Strayhorn, the center for the Spartans.
31-8 rush to pass. My goodness. There's great Gary Tranquill right there. Came to Michigan State. He and Saban have been connected for years and years and years, both at the Naval Academy. Bill Belichick was also there. And Gary's offense has always been buckle your chin strap. We are coming right between your eyes.
And there's nobody he wants to beat more than Notre Dame. He remembers when he was head coach of the Naval Academy, a game he thought he should have won. There's an interception by Corey Minor. And the Fighting Irish got a chance now with just 1:04 to play in the first half. So Minor, who dropped a wide open throw in the Georgia Tech game that he would have run in for a touchdown, makes the play. He told us yesterday if another one came his way, you can count on me catching it. And he did.
It's an excellent drop by Corey Minor. It's zone. He's reading the quarterback's eyes, and he said, wait a minute, I can't believe this. Comes right to him, makes a great catch. And that's the one thing that Notre Dame has needed, some spark. Even in the entire stadium, no spark.
But they still have to show Trump they can get it into the end zone, something they've done only twice all season and not at all today.
Well, this is 4-down area. Nick Saban just called a timeout. I don't think he's got the right defense out there on the field. But, I mean, look, down 17-0, 1:04 to go. If you've got time, 4-down area. They needed 6 points, not 3.
Boy, do they. Sunday morning, want to know what's happening in the world? Watch Meet the Press, television's longest running news show, brings you face to face with today's newsmakers. Join Tim Russert Sunday on Meet the Press. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Now Notre Dame is having its own meeting out on the playing field, trying to get this offense right as they have a final chance in the first half, failing the Spartans, who, believe it or not, were an underdog coming into this game.
Again, a wonderful drop here by Corey Minor. Good pressure by 13 Friday, but Minor drops perfectly right underneath the receiver. Ball should not have thrown by Schultz. First mistake he's made, and it supplies an excellent field position. And now you want a spark? That's up to the offense. Corey Minor just gave him the spark.
Well, you're pointing out that Amp Campbell, their best cover corner, went out with a quad pull, and they might be attacking the side of his replacement. Lamar Marshall in the game. He's at the top of your screen, upper left. He'll be playing the left corner as Notre Dame breaks the huddle with just 64 ticks left on the clock in the first half. Paulus with a 2 wide receiver set. Spartans aligning to blitz again. Paulus calls the blocking. They come with a 4-man rush. Paulus throws. Leads his receiver, Joey Goodspeed, is working hard to get out of bounds but cannot. Spartans, Courtney Ledyard, outside linebacker, takes him down at the 25-yard line, and the clock runs. 48 seconds, as you see, as it ticks down here in the first half. 3 wide receiver set now. Rakai Nelson in as Paulus drops from the shotgun. Gets time, triggers his throw, makes the connection, and getting out of bounds nicely is Malcolm Johnson, so he is down now to the 15-yard line. Robert Smith putting a big rush on, an 11-yard gain on the play, though, so the Fighting Irish providing for their 80,000 here, the first excitement of the day. There's also a penalty marker down way back upfield behind where Notre Dame huddled, thrown by the referee.
Roughing the passer on the defense, half the distance, first down.
Robert Smith hit Paulus late.
Number 91, that's not much of a hit. But in college athletics, just as they do in the pros, they protect the quarterback as best they can, and Robert Smith could have pulled off. So thanks, Michigan State Spartans, for that nice little assist.
And now Nick Saban sees his team faced with its first adversity. First an interception thrown by his quarterback, and now the personal foul call. And the Irish, with only 32 seconds on the clock, get set to throw from the 7-yard line of Michigan State. First and goal. Will the blitzers be coming? They do not. Paulus looks. Now it's a pass downfield. It is caught. Touchdown Notre Dame. And the Irish are on the board as Bobby Brown goes up in the air and comes down with it. Coach Nick Saban saw his Spartan defense go almost 90 minutes of first half football without allowing a point. Now the Irish getting set to kick the point after. Jim Sanson on the field. Snap, set down, and kick, all good. And with 27 seconds to play in the half, the Irish are finally on the board with only the 3rd touchdown of this season.
Here's Bobby Brown. He does an excellent job and makes a great adjustment on this pass down. Not thrown particularly well. Watch 88. He gets a little bump, looks back for the ball, turns all the way around, which is the absolute most difficult thing a receiver has to do. Take his eye off the ball and then turn around and catch it. Well done by Ron Paulus. Throws it right out to the corner. There's linebacker coverage, actually strong safety coverage. Morris on Bobby Brown. Well done, taking advantage of the turnover. Quickly down the field, a big penalty on Michigan State. And the Irish on the scoreboard. Life.
Here's Bob Davie congratulating Bobby Brown. That was about 10% throw and 90% Bobby Brown.
Yes, it was.
Recovering, as you point out, and going high to bring down the ball. So now Notre Dame trails the Spartans 17-7. But Michigan State will get another crack at it as the Irish capitalize on Michigan State's only turnover of the game. An interception by number 4, Corey Minor, who is one of the best linebackers that ever played here in his junior year. He too, like the other starting inside linebacker, Grant Irons, was the high school defensive player of the year at Amat High School in California. Bishop Amat. Mike Reese, 4-time starter in 4 years as a Spartan, trying to rally his team as the Spartans give up their first points of this season in the first half. Good kicking down the field and lots of people trying, and not with much luck. Renaud falls on it. Stay tuned to the half for the Sun America halftime report. Hannah Storm and Chris Collinsworth will be along with scores and highlights and a look at Ron Paulus. So Michigan State, Trump probably with that power eye run up the middle and take their winnings to the locker room.
Absolutely. Take no chances. Last play was the turnover. Well, let's go in and just think about this. Good control of the first half. All right, we turned one over. They took advantage of it. Right back to the power game.
The Spartan offensive line. Big people lumber back out onto the field, but when the ball is snapped, they're quick. Schultz at quarterback does indeed go to his I-back, Irvin, and he breaks it for some yards close to the 30-yard line. And the game clock winding down. Michigan State huddling at their leisure, letting the clock roll.
But again, I mean, it's in the first half, but that's a 6-yard run on first down. Second and 4. An offensive coordinator's dream. Do anything, everything. Let's take it to the locker room.
But we'll find out if the Fighting Irish can build on their late success in this game. Let's go back down to John Dockery. Doc?
Thank you, Don. Coach, your assessment of the first half?
Well, I was very pleased with the way our team played in the first half. We run the ball very effectively. I thought we played decent on defense. We didn't give up any big plays, but that the last two chain of events on offense where we squandered a scoring opportunity and then threw an interception down here, which led to their score, really could hurt us in the game, and I think we got to go in and regroup and overcome it in the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
17-7 is the score at the half. Michigan State, after building the 17-0 lead, now leading by 10 as we go to New York and to Hannah Storm. Back at Notre Dame, Michigan State leading 17-7 at halftime. Now let's go down to the field to John Dockery. Doc?
Thank you, Crick. I tried to get an interview with Coach Bob Davie as I came out of the locker room with his team. He was not interested in talking. He kind of waved me off, went with his team, talked to him for a moment, and they ran out in the field. So no comment from Bob Davie at the half. Back to you guys.
Well, he finally got some action from his football team as the Michigan State Spartans played really 29 minutes of perfect football. Then the interception by Todd Schultz, done by Corey Minor, and subsequently turned into a touchdown.
Yeah, well, Notre Dame has been looking for a spark. Again, it comes from the defense. This is a perfect drop by an upperclassman. You expect the upperclassman to make the big plays. Pressure by Friday 13. Corey Minor drops underneath the receiver. The net result is the Irish only score of the first half. Corey Minor did his job on that particular play, Don.
That's interesting. When we talked to Nick Saban, the Michigan State coach this week, he said it's one area of concern about this team. They've never shown them in the previous 2 years they can come back from adversity. When things have gone bad, they tended to keep going bad. Now we'll see how they bounce back from this one setback they had in the first half.
Yeah, I think the one thing you want as a coach is you never want to give your opponent any kind of momentum. And at the end of that first half, that turnover did supply the Irish with some momentum. I think there is a key number in the first half, Don, just to show you the total dominance. The Michigan State Spartans ran the ball 32 times and produced 145 yards. Notre Dame has run 27 total plays. So you can see the dominance. The time of possession for Michigan State, they have absolutely controlled the line of scrimmage. And frankly, after that interception thrown by Schultz, that may be the last pass we see today by Michigan State, regardless of down and distance.
Well, Notre Dame will start the second half with the ball. You'll remember they kicked off in the opening kickoff run back by State for 52 yards. It really set the tone for almost the entire first half as they just took it right on in. 7 plays later, they were in the end zone on a touchdown pass. Schultz to Kerr. They subsequently build a 17-0 lead. Now the ever dangerous Allen Rossum is the deep man back as Gardner gets set to kick off for Michigan State. Rossum from the 6. Channel of blockers gives him a little room, and then Allen Rossum is hit and thrown back at the 23-yard line. 18-yard return on the play. Tackle for Michigan State by Richard Newsom. There you go, Trump.
Well, the possession's not good for Notre Dame. The only good thing is they did not turn the ball over. Certainly took advantage of the interception, 3 plays and a score. Also helped by a needless penalty on Robert Smith hitting Ron Paulus in the helmet.
Paulus now setting his team first down and 10. Amp Campbell, the best corner for Michigan State, is back on the field as Paulus drops on first down, takes a look, shuffles the ball ahead, and Alfred Denson turns upfield, gets a great block from the freshman Jabari Holloway, who took out 2 Spartans. Holloway keys a 10-yard pass play and a first down for Notre Dame. What a play by Holloway.
Yeah, what a play by Paulus. A good pressure, just a 4-man rush. Paulus looking way down the field again, looking for that big play. Presence of mind, looking for that outlet receiver. Denson makes himself a receiver, and there's the block by Holloway, number 87. He does get 2. And yards, where they're going to measure. See Paulus get hit, driven into the ground.
Comes up wearing some of the turf.
Yeah, that run by Demetrius Underwood, no penalty.
Jabari Holloway getting his first start, a terrific young man from Riverdale, Georgia. We met with him yesterday, and he said he didn't want to make his parents nervous. They're here, so he wasn't going to tell them he was starting today. He just told them he had a surprise. He said, I had to tell somebody, so I told my grand folks, but they didn't tell my parents. I said, well, how do you think your parents will react? His dad, he said, thought the surprise was he was going to play linebacker. He said he knows his mother would cry. And not on that play. Jabari delivers the goods, and it's first down Notre Dame. Pitch back. Denson, a big play by Michigan State. As Robert Smith comes up from defensive end, sheds the block, and makes the knockdown for a loss.
And Don, the most important thing is he comes from the backside of the defense. Robert Smith is inside the tight end, gets inside the tight end, who is Ritter, Tim Ritter, a converted offensive lineman, jumps inside the tight end to make the tackle. You can't miss the block at the point of attack.
So Nick Saban now pacing the sidelines as what looked to be a laugher has turned into a game. Notre Dame on the opening drive of the second half with second down and 14. Deep drop by Paulus gives him time. Paulus eludes 2 tacklers. A penalty marker is thrown. Could be a holding penalty against Notre Dame as Robert Smith was coming hard on the rush.
And it looked to me like there was one receiver holding. Notre Dame, you called it, but it looked to me like somebody didn't run the right pattern. There were only 2 receivers out, and Paulus was looking downfield. No one in the area where he first looked.
So Bob Davie sees what looked like a promising opening drive of the third quarter. Now finds his Fighting Irish falling back.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the flag, still second down.
And what did Bob Davie tell us? Unforced errors. We continue to make unforced errors, and a holding penalty is an unforced error. So now you got second.
Almost a 20-yard penalty, because in college football, as you know, the holding penalty is assessed from where the holding occurred, and it was deep in the Notre Dame backfield. So second down comes up, and actually they're going to spot it at second and 27 where the ball is positioned back at the 17-yard line. Paulus takes a look, gets some time, swings it out, hits Joe Goodspeed. Loses one tackler, but not for long, as a very nicely done play by Courtney Ledyard.
A key part of your last phrase, swings it out. Again, nothing downfield. You're going to the outlet underneath receiver. And to the fullback. That's nice. It's a completion. But on 2nd and 27, the defense will gladly give the fullback 4, 5, or 6 yards out in the flat.
Notre Dame just 2 of 6 on third down conversions, and this is a long shot to convert. 3rd and 24. So if the Spartans hold, they'll get a good field position to start their first drive of the third quarter. Here's Paulus. Fires. He's got Bobby Brown putting on moves, but he's not close to a first down. 12 yards short of it. As again, Trump, as you're pointing out, Paulus has to go underneath to get an open man.
But the plus side of this is at least you're going to see the receiver run the crossing route. The ball is caught with the receiver running, so he has a chance to turn the ball up the field if he can break a tackle. But there are 3 guys right there. Ooh, there's a big hit. At least he was running, though.
Nick Saban probably exhorting his team to come out hitting, and they did. And now Hunter Smith, one of Notre Dame's best weapons, hits a low punt but hits it deep. As Irvin is back, Cedric Irvin looks for blockers, finds a channel, and then runs out of room as he's knocked down at the 31-yard line. 47-yard punt, a 10-yard return. The Spartans leading by 10 go on offense when we come back. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and John Dockery back at Notre Dame, where the Spartans, holding to a 17-7 lead, get their first possession of the third quarter. The power set. Into the power run they go. As again the trap blocking breaks the Notre Dame defense in the front line, and the Michigan State back Cedric Irvin is out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 5.
I think they don't have some weapons here. That's 28 carries, 143 yards for those 2 young men. They keep each other fresh. That's now Irvin's 17th carry, 76 yards. And again, how many times today have we seen Michigan State 2nd and 4?
A lot of times. Down and distance, that's what Saban preaches. We got to make down and distance favor us, as Cedric Irvin makes it favored, and now he takes it across midfield and down to the 47-yard line of Notre Dame, where the last line of defense, the free safety Deke Cooper, brought him down, but it was a 16-yard run.
And watch what happens here. The power sweep. You see Mudge 65 gets a hold of Corey Minor, pushes him outside. You see Irvin just stay right on the hip of the fullback and the tackle. I mean, again, it's a recurring theme, not just against Notre Dame, against every team that Michigan State will play this year.
Handoff. Again, they go to the I-backs, Cedric Irvin, and the Michigan front line of blockers just powers the Notre Dame defensive wall back. Just blowing them off the ball with straight ahead zone blocking. You see how the first half went for Michigan State. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns to open the game in the first quarter. They led 14-0. Irvin a yard short of 100 yards for the game. He has 19 carries for 99 yards. Second and 4. Handoff. Running with the ball is Mark Renaud, and he is ahead, and it looks like for a Spartan first down to the 36-yard line of Notre Dame. Antoine Jones knocks him down.
This game of football is easy when you can control the line of scrimmage like these guys have today. I mean, there is no reason to even think about throwing the football. None.
Even less after the guy was kicked the last time he threw it.
Because these guys have been so dominant at the line of scrimmage.
Field sets his team. First down. Lone setback. Cedric Irvin, and to Irvin they go. Somehow he breaks tackles. People one after another takes a shot at him and misses. The elusive yet powerful Cedric Irvin breaks another good gain, about 4 yards when he was caught behind the line, it looked like.
37 rushes. My goodness. Very tranquil there, very happy. Yeah, there were 2 or 3 guys that should have made the tackle. And I mean, just great confidence in the offensive line. The running backs at Michigan State have great patience. They don't force the issue. They wait for the hole to open. And then they're north and south runners towards the goal line.
And that's where they're headed right now on a 2nd down and 6 play. Play fake. Schultz looking to throw. He fires downfield, and the ball is almost intercepted. As the one area that they can come apart is in the pass offense, as Schultz is off target. And he was looking at his tight end Josh Kerr, who he hit for the opening score of the game.
Yeah, Kerr comes across, and he's got Corey Minor right behind him. Actually, I think Schultz takes another chance with that throw. And again, that's based on the running attack. Just try to draw linebackers up for the little play action pass out there, but good coverage by Minor.
7th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down. The Spartans need 6. Schultz gets time, takes a look, makes a throw, and the completion. A terrific play by Michigan State as Gary Scott, coming off the flank, makes a tough catch, then fights off a tackler and gets ahead for 12 yards and a 1st down for the Spartans.
And Michigan State continues to make the plays. Quick set by Schultz, just a nice 5-step drop. An excellent pattern run by the receiver, Scott. He kind of manhandles the defender, Ivory Covington. Big body in front of a small body. Converts for a 1st down.
1st down it is at the 21-yard line of Notre Dame. Back to the run. Cedric Irvin breaks it. Here's a penalty marker. Michigan State might have been holding, and this could come back. The umpire, who stands behind the linebackers and looks at the offense when he throws it, as he did on occasion against Mr. Trumpy in his tight end days.
But the umpire wasn't in charge of me. The back judge was. But he did throw it every once in a while.
That was the umpire, and it is a holding against Michigan State.
But isn't that the first holding call against this offense today?
Yep. It is.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still 1st down.
The ball now positioned at the 32-yard line of Notre Dame. 9 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter.
Frankly, Don, I think even at 1st and 20, this is still running down for Michigan State.
And they're getting 5 to 10 yards of crack. It might be. Schultz play fakes. Here's a blitzer after him. Schultz throws and makes the connection to Renaud. And he is taken down at about the 27-yard line of Notre Dame as Antoine Jones ran him down.
Actually, it's a pretty good play. Last week, Purdue had close to 150 yards against the Notre Dame defense on screens alone. But it's a little crowded up there, you know. Mel Dansby, 51, got his hand up, almost made contact with the football. Rossum being blocked by Richardson out there on the flank. And on the face mask, no call, but didn't pick up much, just 4 yards.
Second down. Spartans need 16. Here comes a blitzer. Throwing a completion to Kerr, the tight end, who's taken down about 9 yards short of a 1st down. So 3rd down again arises, looming large with the Spartans needing 8 with the ball spotted. Deveron Harper makes the stop.
Deveron Harper, Coleman Dansby on the tackle for Notre Dame.
Bob Davie looking for his defense to hold. A big down comes up. It's a long 8, almost 9. Handoff. They go to the run and they don't get there, but they do get the ball to the 16-yard line, which would make it about. They have to hold at the 22, about a 32-yard field goal. Elvin Dansby makes the stop. Chris Gardner is a long-range kicker for Michigan State. He doesn't need a long one here. His longest is a collegiate 49 yards. That was last year against Penn State, but he's hit him from over 50 in high school. This is a 32-yarder. High snap. Everything's perfect. Snap, set down, and the kick by Chris Gardner. Now Michigan State, its last 2 scores have been field goals, but it helps the Spartans build a 20-7 lead. They need the leprechaun now, and more than that as they start 1st and 90 where they're positioned.
He's not big enough to play defense. They don't need the leprechaun now.
Notre Dame with the short kickoff return by Denson starts on their 10-yard line. Ron Paulus has tied a Notre Dame record. He's completed his last 11 passes. Denson runs, breaks into open field, and Autry Denson knocked down by Eric Morris, or that might have gone 90.
That was a saving tackle, and there is the record by Ron Paulus. 11 consecutive. Last 2 weeks, he's produced record-setting numbers for Ron Paulus. Lost in last week and trailing this week.
Previous record of 10 straight held by Joe Montana and the Springfield Rifle, Angelo Bertelli. Notre Dame's first Heisman Trophy winner, who's looking on here today. 6:42 to play in the third quarter. Notre Dame down to the Spartans of Michigan State, 20-7. Wallace looks, dumps it off. This is Ken Berry, who's ahead to the 24-yard line. First down play for about 4 yards, tackled by Ike Reese.
Underneath. Swinging the flat. Underneath.
Whatever works. There's nothing working deep.
38 rushes by Michigan State, just 13 for Notre Dame. And again, Notre Dame working uphill. Behind 20-7. They can't take the conservative approach here.
Notre Dame's fastest player on offense, Joey Getherall, is out this weekend last with a knee strain. He should be back for Michigan, the freshman who caught 5 passes in the opener against Georgia Tech. Here's Denson looking for a slot to go through, and he gets some yards out close to the 27-yard line, where Robert Smith, the sophomore defensive end, 91, makes another stop, along with Desmond Thomas.
And now you're seeing Michigan State get 8-9 guys up in the box. Make sure that Denson can't beat you with a run. And they still don't have much respect for the receivers at Notre Dame. And with the constant throws in the flat, the underneath stuff, and nothing threatened deep to Michigan State's defense.
The freshman tight end, Jabari Holloway, is set to the bottom of the screen, number 87, on 3rd down and 3. Ike Reese setting up to blitz. Now he backs off. Hollis takes a drop, takes a look, fires out, makes the connection. Bobby Brown with another big play and a first down for the Irish, as he is out to the 37-yard line, so they needed 2 and they got about 10.
This was an audible run by Ron Paulus. He's just going to run the quick little flash out to the sideline. It is enough to pick up the first down. Hill and Morris kind of run into each other, but again, a play into the sideline. It doesn't give you a big play, but it does give you a first down.
Brown, Notre Dame's leading receiver for the season, closing in on 20 catches for the year. A junior from Lauderhill, Florida. Same place Autry Denson's from. Here's another throw and a catch, as Paulus keeps firing on target. This one was to Malcolm Johnson, so we go back down to Doc.
Hey, Trump and Crick, there's something you might want to watch. Left cornerback now is Lamar Marshall. He's really a free safety, but he's a junior with more experience. He's more of a hitting kind of corner, but actually a safety. They've been changing the left corner, either Marshall or they bring in another cornerback, Newsom. When they have Marshall in the game, they're playing zone to protect him. When they have Newsom, they're blitzing and they're playing more man-to-man. Something to look for, Trump.
You got it.
Good spot, and Paulus is picking it up. And he's finding open receivers every drop. Here's a blitz. They pick it up. Paulus takes a look, fires the ball. Oh, a drop by Holloway. Maybe somebody got a hand on it, as Eric Morris is covering as best he could, but Holloway, the freshman, had a couple of steps on him.
Michigan State came with the blitz. Here's Holloway, has a good release, gets inside. You see Ike Reese 44 up through the middle. There is Rossum as a receiver on the outside, and again, that's zone. Even though it's a blitz, it's a zone. And take no chances with Marshall, just as John Dockery just mentioned.
Ron Paulus with that incompletion, his record of 14 consecutive pass completions. Now going into the books, as it's now 3rd down and 5. Paulus steps up, fires, makes a connection. Very close to a first down. It's all up to the linesman here, as he got big, lanky, 6'5" Malcolm Johnson. Did he lean ahead for enough? He did. First down, Notre Dame.
Again, Marshall bump and run. Excellent release by Malcolm Johnson to the outside, knowing he's running the slant. Right into the breadbasket, just stretches that 6'5" frame, enough for a first down. The conservative stuff is working here. Clock working against Notre Dame, but they are moving the ball.
Now Jay Johnson is in the ball game for the first time. A fast wide receiver at the top of your screen on 1st and 10. Spartans lead 20-7. Handoff. Notre Dame breaks the run as the ball is carried out by Tony Driver, that heralded freshman, and he's down to the 45-yard line of the Spartans. A 9-yard gain on the play. Shory Canoe, the free safety, finally got him.
This is the next generation for Notre Dame. He's big, he's fast, he's impressive, he's dedicated, he's done everything they want of him. And they just get him the ball enough as a freshman to really know what they have those next 2 or 3 seasons.
Very fast, and he's big at 210. Driver aligns as the I-back. 2nd and short, less than 2. Tony Driver. First down Notre Dame, and Driver's not done till he gets to the 39-yard line. He gets 5. First down, Fighting Irish.
There's Zach Reese. He is the leader of this defense. Drops outside a little bit and recognizes it is just a lead play there to make the tackle. A young man who has sacrificed a great deal, almost didn't make it to Michigan State, but has made it, and he is one of the leaders. He's one of the vocal leaders for the Spartans.
Coach Nick Saban calls him the heartbeat of the team, says he's the best leader he's ever had coaching football. Handoff. Autry Denson putting on some moves. Denson on first down, maybe gets a couple. Good defense by the Spartans, led by the hard-hitting strong safety, number 39, Eric Morris. Denson has now run 13 times. He's gained 59 yards.
And Don, this Michigan State defense now in uncharted waters. They're actually on the field in the 3rd quarter. First 2 games, they only faced 60 snaps in the first 2 games, and conditioning can be a problem. And that might be part of the reason why Notre Dame driving down the field here on it.
Bob Davie told us we have to get our offense in position to set the tempo. In this drive, they've been doing it. As they go back to the run, power running, Denson is hit from behind and then driven ahead down to the 32-yard line. 2 yards short. 3rd down comes up for Notre Dame as this 3rd quarter is speeding by quickly. Just 2:25 to play in it.
That pickup, we got now 3rd and 3, so you have both run and pass available for the offense. This is the 12th play of the drive for Notre Dame, without question. They're most successful on the day, and again, Nick Saban now, this is his concern, as you said earlier. Can his team stand prosperity? Can they protect the lead?
3rd down. Irish need a long 2 from the 32-yard line. Paulus with a quick out, gets his man running with the ball, and ahead for a first down is Rakai Nelson, and he is out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. 11 yards on the play and a first down as Paulus continues to trigger pass after pass on the numbers.
Nelson in the slot. This is basically a screen, Don. The flanker outside gets the key block. And Malcolm Johnson, number 6. And he gets out to the sideline. Nice pickup. And that again, a page from Purdue's playbook of last week.
Yeah. Bob Davie now getting more vocal on the sideline as he sees his offense with its longest sustained drive of this game, where the Spartans continue to lead the game. 20-7. Handoff. Driver taking on tacklers. He's thrown back as the Spartans this time shoot the gaps, and the senior captain Ike Reese was the lead tackler, number 44.
I see the inexperience there of a freshman Driver. Reese does an excellent job defensively, but Driver's choice is to go outside when this is the counter. It's set up to go inside. He plays right into the hand again of Eric Morris, the strong safety for Michigan State, who on the corner today in the alley, the support alley, has been outstanding making tackles.
2nd down and 12 for Notre Dame. Paulus getting more time here in the 3rd quarter. Shoots low. He really felt Ken Berry thought he was wide open. It looked like he was from here. The fullback swinging out of the backfield. So now a tough throw for Paulus coming up. 3rd down and 12.
Ball was intended for Malcolm Johnson again. It's a zone. He's released across the middle very, very late. I think Ron Paulus just threw this down on the ground. He did not want to turn it over.
Very, very low indeed on the one hop. Late and low. 43 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Notre Dame trying to get back in the game, trailing Michigan State 20-7. Spartans led in the 2nd quarter 17-0. It was 17-7 at the half. Denson is a wide receiver set to the right. Ron Paulus takes a look, makes a throw. It's dropped. Bobby Brown on his knees. It might have been tipped though by Eric Morris. And now Notre Dame is sending out his field goal unit.
And Don, again, the ball delivered just a little bit late. And it's a hook pattern by Bobby Brown, so he's not running. Brown is in the slot. You can see he's open there. Waits just ever so. Yeah, it is tipped. It was tipped. Again, Eric Morris shows up. Big play.
Eric Morris has been making a lot of big plays for the Spartans. Paulus is 18 for 27 throwing the ball for 134 yards and a touchdown. No turnovers. Michigan State has had one pass intercepted. Shortly before halftime, Notre Dame subsequently scored. Hunter Smith takes a look. He's got an open man going for the ball, and it fails. So the Irish go to their bag of tricks. Hunter Smith, the punter and holder, looking at Joey Goodspeed. Hunter Smith was a quarterback in high school in Sherman, Texas, and a good one. He had all day to search out somebody open, but Goodspeed they seem to go to on all the fourth downs, and none have worked yet.
As a matter of fact, Hunter Smith was a quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back. Notre Dame was the only Division I college football team that recruited him as a punter. That fake field goal, you got to give an awful lot of credit to number 37 from Michigan State, Tyrone Garland. Now Joey Goodspeed is the up back, but watch 37. Stays with him, just make sure he's between Hunter Smith and Goodspeed. The ball is overthrown, but that's well defended. Basically gave Hunter Smith a little area to throw it.
Yep, and it wasn't close, so the throw was errant. And the coverage good by Michigan State, and now the Spartans take over the ball and go back to their power game right up the middle. Bouncing off tackles is Mark Renaud, and he's ahead for a gain of almost 5 yards to the 28-yard line. Stopped by Lamont Bryant. Notre Dame going 16 plays with no points.
No points. Again, Bob Davie showing faith in his team. Trying to convert on fourth down. Just make that spark continue.
And that'll do it for the third quarter of play. So Coach Saban and his Spartans head to the final 15 minutes leading 20-7. We'll be back in South Bend after these messages from your local station. Back at Notre Dame Stadium, the Spartans getting their defense off the field after a 16-play, no points drive by Notre Dame. Here's the pitch back. Following his blockers beautifully and cutting back. And out to the 33-yard line is Cedric Irvin as we go back to the sidelines to Doc.
You know, Crick, just to follow up on that missed field goal by the Irish, it was Joey Goodspeed who was diving for the ball. That is he sitting on the bench with an ice pack on his right shoulder. He's damaged it. Don't have a complete report, but he will not be back in the game. Back to you.
Hey, thanks, Doc. They've got a good guy behind him. As now another Notre Dame player, Corey Bennett, who's been shaken up. He's had knee problems and hasn't practiced all week. He is being looked at. So while Corey is being attended to and apparently is all right, they're getting him up. We want to tell you that NBC's premiere week starts Monday, kicking off 5 nights of all new must-see comedy. It's the premiere of Suddenly Susan, Fired Up, and Caroline, plus The Naked Truth and Dateline. Don't miss a minute. NBC's premiere week starts Monday, and a great one is planned.
Don, you want one of the most telling stats I believe I can give you. That's Corey Bennett's numbers as he limps to the sideline. Today, Michigan State on first down has averaged 5 yards on every first down. 24 rushes, just 2 passes. They have owned first down, 2nd and 5. That is an offensive coordinator's dream, a defensive coordinator's nightmare.
And when you look at the tendency chart, it's for a defense, I mean, it's pretty easy to see what they're going to do. 24 rushes, 2 passes, but when you can't stop it.
Sure, it's a no-brainer. I mean, yeah, let's do it again.
Nick Saban, in his 3rd year as head coach of Michigan State. After 4 years as defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, he's done a masterful job reconstructing a program that was in tough shape. As on 3rd down, the quarterback puts his head down, going behind his center Strayhorn. Schultz has a Spartan first down.
Well, I think Nick Saban is finding out a lot about his football team here. On the road, the fact that they have dominated the line of scrimmage almost this entire game. They have made one big mistake, and then an interception by the quarterback. Ball should not have been thrown. Defensively, they have made Notre Dame throw underneath. They've allowed very few, if any, big plays. He knows a lot about his football team now.
And they're beating an opponent that has dominated the Spartans for the last 2 decades. Notre Dame winning 8 straight and 17 of the last 19. The Fighting Irish getting a rare short yardage stop on first down. The carry by Cedric Urban.
193 yards for Michigan State last week. They ran it 49 times for 229 yards. So if you're wondering, that 4.8 yard average, that works. And this is, these guys will hammer a lot of football teams in the Big Ten this season.
And the biggest games go through East Lansing. Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State all have to play at Spartan Stadium. Schultz, a lot of time, walks the ball beautifully. Catch is made. The tackle follows by Ivory Covington, but they give Schultz a wall of protection, and he threads the ball in very accurately for the first down, 11-yard gain.
Soft coverage. What happens here, Notre Dame committing that extra guy to stop the run, so Covington has no help on the inside. Schultz sets well, throws the ball beautifully. Covington a good 2-3 yards off. That's an easy completion for a first down.
Handoff over the top is Mark Renaud. First down carry. He got to midfield. Got about almost 4 yards on the play. Lance Legree, the nose tackle for Notre Dame, again pointing out the size disparity. Michigan State's offensive front is bigger than most NFL teams. And the Irish up front are very small as they've replaced 5 of their front 7 from a season ago.
No question that is a huge factor. Number 90 Legree last year was a linebacker. This is his first year at nose tackle. It's all strange to him in there.
Handoff, Renaud so quick. And Mark Renaud runs for a first down for the Spartans down to the 40-yard line of Notre Dame.
Man, Don, I'm telling you, did they capture the corner on that one?
They did. Everybody's playing great block football. Everybody holding their blocks.
I mean, again, to the left side, the tight end helps. Big double team. You see Shaw just caves in Corey Minor. He's knocked 8 or 9 yards deep. Pick an offensive run. Michigan State has accomplished a lot with it today.
Shaw, the lad who was the 3-pound premature baby, who's grown into a 310-pound crusher. Penalty markers now in the Michigan State backfield as Cedric Urban comes to the near side and is tackled at the 36-yard line. Last Michigan State win over Notre Dame came in 1986. Lou Holtz's first game. Now Bob Davie shoulders the heavy load that goes with coaching Notre Dame.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
All the great expectations at the start of the season, Trump, that have turned into great concern in just 2 weeks.
Well, Don, I repeat what I said at the top of the show. This is a rebuilding from the ground up. And Bob Davie, when he said to us last night, he said, I'm going to be here a long time. I'm going to do this right. He's advertising. Kid, you can play now. We're going to have a modern offense. Fit you in it. He's got a master plan. He's sold the administration, and I think they believe him.
His immediate plan trying to get a defensive stop as Schultz throws the screen to Cedric Urban. Blockers in front. And Urban is taken down from behind at about the 40-yard line, so they got back the penalty yardage. As both starting runners for the Spartans are over 100 yards for the day.
Wow.
But the per carry average is what really stands out.
I know, 5.7 for Renaud, 4.9 for Urban, 4.8 for the team. First time Notre Dame has given up 2 100-yard rushers. Army, 1995, Ron Thomas and John Conroy, each over 100 yards, and that's from the Wishbones.
When was that? 95. The cadets ran that wishbone. Notre Dame couldn't stop. Dropping to throw is Schultz on 2nd and 11. Gets his man, but Renaud breaking a tackle leaves the ball on the field. Did get it back. And it brings up 3rd down and 10 with the ball positioned at about the 40-yard line of Notre Dame.
Got 2 straight screens. Renaud catches it, and then Dansby strips it from him. Renaud does regain control, but again, a page from the offensive playbook of Purdue last week. Let's screen him.
Purdue had, I think, unofficially 153 yards on screen passes last week. Over 350 yards for the game throwing the ball. They're down. Spartans need 10 as Notre Dame comes with a corner blitz. Rossman's picked up. The throw not even close. And 4th down comes up now for Michigan State as the Irish defense attacks Todd Schultz with an all-out blitz and forces an errant throw.
They had 6 defensive backs. You're going to see the blitzers come from the outside. It's a zone blitz because you have 51 Mel Dansby dropping back in coverage. He's a 285-pound guy trying to cover somebody, just getting his way. Hope they get to the quarterback with a blitz before I got to cover this guy in a pattern.
Now Paul Evinger gets out on the field to punt. Only his 2nd of the day. Alan Rossum standing back at his 10. He might boot it right into the end zone and take the touchback. It's a high punt. Ball caroms down close and out of bounds at the 1-yard line. A Hall of Fame quality punt. So a 39-yard punt placed out of bounds at the 1 puts the Irish deep trouble. A great punt by Ettinger of Michigan State, pinning the Irish back on their 1-yard line. So Paulus and the Irish have to start pulling rabbits out of hats to get back in this one as they're down 20-7 with 10 minutes to play in the game, and the clock is running. Robert Newkirk stuffs the run. Gain of a couple of yards out to the 4-yard line. You hate to throw from your end zone, but Notre Dame's going to have to pretty soon. They get a run here.
Yeah, but you can't take a chance down here. You really can't. 20-7 to have any chance whatsoever. The offense has not functioned particularly well today. You just can't throw it up, take a chance, and just turn it into a rout for Michigan State.
Well, the receiving tight end just came in, Jabari Holloway, so we'll see what Paulus goes to. Looks like a blitz is being set up. Paulus changing his play and his backfield alignment. Looking to throw. Paulus is down at the 1-yard line, so he did indeed look to throw, but the state defense was up to it, led by Robert Smith, number 91, who almost had a safety.
Yeah, Don, what Michigan State did was they showed Ron Paulus one defense. When he audibled, they backed out to another. He's trying to get a slant out here, but there's excellent coverage. He's trying to find the outlet receiver, can't, and just sheer leg strength gets that ball out of the end zone to avoid the safety.
He had to use every ounce of his 215 pounds to get forward to stay out of the end zone. So now it is 3rd and 11 from almost at the Notre Dame goal line. Paulus stands in, takes a look. He's got a release. He does. It's incomplete. Bobby Brown was defended by 2 players, Sori Kanu, the free safety, and by Ray Hill, the right cornerback. So Michigan State's defense gets a stop.
Excellent coverage. Man underneath, man on top, ground covered all over the place, man on the outside. Now Hunter Smith only has about 10 yards to punt the ball away. Again, great coverage by Michigan State. And he would not have had enough for a first down even if he had caught the ball there.
And Saban has been a proponent of attack defense. They could go for the block. Hunter Smith gets it away and hits it very well into a swirling wind here at Notre Dame Stadium. Cedric Irvin looking for room to run. Turns up, turns outside, and takes it down to the 33-yard line of Notre Dame, where sophomore Deke Cooper, number 1, finally got him. 42-yard punt under duress and an 11-yard return. Michigan State stopping Notre Dame deep in their own end. Now takes over the ball after a punt at the 33-yard line of the Fighting Irish. Michigan State continues to lead the game 20-7. Spartans have outscored the Fighting Irish in the second half, only 3-0. They built their lead early. They led 17-0 early in the second quarter.
Oh, it's open.
Option pass. It is caught at the 8-yard line. Gary Scott goes up and comes down somehow with an option pass, a 24-yard gain. Irvin threw it. Cedric Irvin.
Actually, he throws it very well. I mean, we knew he was a good running back. We knew he was a good receiver.
A little high, says Gary, but I'll take it.
Yeah, Lamont Bryant with pressure all over Irvin. He still makes the catch. Scott still down on the ground. That's his 5th catch of the day for 66 yards. And you wouldn't expect that out of an offense that just hammered the line of scrimmage all day long, would you?
Terrific play. So now the Spartans in position with a 1st and goal at the 9-yard line to deliver the knockout blow, if in fact they haven't done it already. 8:13 to play. As we look at the game summary.
Here's the big factor. 2 running backs over 100 yards. Paulus with his 14 straight completions. And the interception by Corey Minor leading to the Irish's only points. Total domination by the Michigan State offense.
Back down to John Dockery. Doc.
Quick injury update from the Irish bench. Corey Bennett hurt a little earlier, out with a sprained right knee. Joey Goodspeed, separated shoulder, out 4 weeks or more.
And Michigan State gears up to pound it in. 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Penalty marker thrown. Delay of game.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5 yards, still 1st down.
Dick Honig, our referee. Dick Honig with the leading this Big Ten crew of officials. And the game well under control, both by the officials and by the Spartans, who have been as sound as a football team can be, other than that interception late in the first half that Notre Dame turned into a touchdown throw a few plays later, as the handoff this time goes to Irvin, and he actually lost about a yard to the 16-yard line. Tackled by Lamont Bryant.
Excellent job by Bryant, too. Jumps back inside the block of the tight end and extends himself. One of the few times we've seen a Michigan State running back tackled behind the line of scrimmage. There's been very little defensive penetration by the guys up front for the Irish.
They give away a lot of size, and these are experienced, tough, effective blockers for Michigan State. Big and tough and very good executing as the handoff goes to Cedric Irvin. Spartans content to take the yardage in dribs and drabs at this point as the clock continues to wind down. 7 minutes to go in the game.
He's mad. He wants to break one every time he puts his hands on it.
They say he leads the way in practice, Trump. He's
hyper.
Vocal guy. He just loves to practice, loves to play. Unfortunately, he ended up at Michigan State.
Yeah, unfortunately for a lot of teams in this country.
Well, fortunately for Michigan State, he actually, as you mentioned earlier, he had committed to 6 teams at one time, 6 schools. Dropping to throw is Schultz over the middle. He's almost picked off. As going for the ball was the freshman Grant Irons, who had his hands on it but couldn't hold on.
Yeah, that was the halfback circle, and Grant Irons, another freshman in there playing.
Who was rated the #1 defensive player in the country last year. He's the son of Gerald Irons, the former standout linebacker for the Raiders. I think he played with the Browns also.
Yes, he did.
31-yard field goal now for Chris Gardner. On the way and through the middle. And if Notre Dame didn't have an insurmountable odds to overcome before this, they do now. Down 23-7. Bob Davie, first-year coach for Notre Dame. He's his team now trailing 23-7 with 6:24 to go. Here's Autry Denson returning the kickoff. Breaks it for the moment and gets out to the 34-yard line. 33-yard kickoff return by Autry Denson. Coming down to make the tackle for the Spartans was Archer Collins. And now Ron Paulus has to start throwing on every down. Wallace, who earlier today established a Notre Dame record with 14 straight completions. He needs a lot more now.
Yeah. It's too late. It's just too late. They have not really threatened the defensive backfield of the Michigan State Spartans. Are going to stay up there in the same defensive game plan they had at the start of the game, Don.
And their safeties are playing way back in that 2 deep zone. Here's Paulus. Once again, the lament of the Notre Dame passing game. If a guy's open, he's open short.
But see, Don, the reason they do that, and I hear the fans booing, he's going to the outlet receiver. They're going to, opponents of Notre Dame are going to commit as many people as they possibly can to stop the run. And the only stuff that's going to be open is the underneath stuff.
Another throw and almost picked off. Ike Reese moving on the ball way back in zone coverage. The intended receiver was Malcolm Johnson for Notre Dame. That stops the clock with 5:47 to play.
There's Amp Campbell on the sideline. You know, he said it. We don't have a lot of respect for the Notre Dame wide receivers.
He did.
We don't think they're that good.
He was very nice about it.
Sure.
He just said they're very average.
Yep.
Here is a Paulus in trouble and sacked back at the 32-yard line. So a bad situation gets worse as Demetrius Underwood breaks free for the sack.
Here's Underwood right here. When you're in a situation where you turn the defensive lineman loose, that's going to happen. And I'm not sure you can get all upset at Mike Dowdy.
4th down coming up. Notre Dame needs 11 from the shotgun deep in their own end. Wallace takes a look, pump fakes, and they get him again. Yeah, the Spartan defense, when it had to, standing tall in these last 2 Notre Dame possessions. And Michigan State takes over the ball at the Notre Dame 24-yard line.
Demetrius Underwood again. It appeared to me that Paulus had a receiver in mind, and he got covered. And Dowdy actually does a good job in pass protection. It's just that nobody opened downfield.
So once again, the hammer and anvil offense of the Michigan State Spartans get set to come out to pound the ball at Notre Dame and run the clock with 5:09 left to play. And the Spartans in command from the outset, 23-7 at this point. Paulus taking a lot of shots today, standing in, doing his best. But it just hasn't been there. Bottom line of this game, Notre Dame is totally outmanned from a personnel standpoint. This Michigan State is a big time football team. Harry down to the 21-yard line. Today's Chevrolet players of the game are Cedric Irvin and Mark Renaud, the running backs for Michigan State, and Corey Minor, the linebacker for Notre Dame. For Notre Dame, in recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will contribute $2,000 to the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators for disbursement to deserving college students so they may continue their education. Chevrolet and the NCAA has been a proud partnership for more than a quarter of a century. The road gets tougher for the Fighting Irish. Next week, they go to the Big House. Over 100,000 will be at Ann Arbor as the Irish play the Wolverines of Michigan. Then they go to Stanford, does Notre Dame. Another very good team. And then to Pittsburgh, which is a rising team. 3-1 after just upsetting Miami on Thursday night.
Let me make this comment. As was the case in 1995 when Notre Dame lost to Northwestern, everybody was just, oh my goodness, how can we do that? I don't think there's going to be any real shame at the end of the season in counting a loss to Michigan State.
No.
They are, barring injury, they are that powerful. They are that confident. They are that well coached that they are going to produce a lot of havoc, I believe, in the Big Ten.
They are all of the above. Saban and his staff have done a tremendous job. This is a well-oiled powerhouse. Handoff. Mark Renaud runs at the Notre Dame defense and takes it to the 15-yard line. As the seconds now ticking away, 3:35 to play in the game. Jarvis Hedison makes the stop.
I haven't seen Nick smile yet, but we were at practice on Thursday, and his assistants were yelling and screaming and hollering to get the players' attention. And they're going to go for it on 4th down here. Probably the right thing to do. You don't want to put more points on the board. You don't want to embarrass Notre Dame at home. So you go for it. But he was yelling and screaming and hollering, and he had a lot of concerns. One, They can finish. 2, they can dominate. A decent defense, not a great defense.
Over the top. Linesman come in as diving was Mark Renaud.
It's close.
By Dansby.
Two great runners for Michigan State, both from the state of Florida. Cedric Irvin's from Miami. Mark Renaud, who was also a high school All-American, is from Deerfield Beach, Florida.
They're going to measure for this.
So Bob Davie, who said his team has had a great week of practice, if only we can carry it over to the game, and then as Doc was reporting, kept the locker room shut and had a very spirited discourse for his team. And now Michigan State is just short, so Notre Dame takes over the ball. So there's still some fight left in the Irish, but not a whole lot. Down 23-7 with just 2:53 to play. Some happy Spartans looking on with a lot to cheer about as they end an 8-game losing streak to Notre Dame. Fighting Irish with the ball after stopping Michigan State on 4th down. Notre Dame starting from their 15-yard line, but Paulus is under heavy pressure. Swings out a little screen pass. Benson takes it down the sideline. He could not get out of bounds, though, as Tyrone Garland brought him down. So the Irish go into alignment without a huddle.
And a screen. All right, 1st and 10, trailing 23-7. A screen.
Seemed like a good idea at the time. What do they go to now? There's just nobody open. Well, they got a 3-deep zone now. I mean, you're not going to throw anything long. Paulus fires. He's got an open man. Jay Johnson with a terrific catch. Extends himself. Comes down with the ball at the 39-yard line. So first time they've gone to Jay Johnson this season. He makes a big play.
Don, the Michigan State Spartans in the prevent defense. Not only do they have a 3-deep, but they've got 3 defensive backs underneath that. 6 DBs on the field for Michigan State. Clock stops while they reset the chains. 2:18 to go.
That was
roughing the passer on the defense. Tack on to the end of the pass. 15 yards, first down.
Demetrius Underwood hit Paulus late. To the head.
Yep, hands to the head.
So a 25-yard reception by Jay Johnson, and now the subsequent yardage added on the personal foul. And Notre Dame's at the 40-yard line of Michigan State. But 2 minutes and 18 seconds, all that remains. Spartans go into their Big Ten schedule next against Minnesota. Right now, Paulus setting in the shotgun. He'll throw the ball from around his 45-yard line if he can. Here comes a blitz. Paulus stands in, releases the ball, and throws a pick to Ray Hill. Hill turning wide, turning out, and getting out of bounds. Garland putting the pressure on a blitz, and with the interception was cornerback Ray Hill, a senior from Detroit.
You're going to see the blitz come right up in here. Is Garland untouched. Ron Paulus has the guts to stand in there and throw it, but Ray Hill right underneath the receiver. Looked like it was 11. Was the intended receiver Jay Johnson? And that's what you're looking for in that prevent defense. Well, this has been a complete, except for the dumb penalties that Michigan State has had today. A couple of 3 hits on the quarterback. This has been, and the 1 interception, a flawless performance by Michigan State on the road.
And Nick Saban, who was highly sought after for head coaching jobs in the NFL, he loves it at Michigan State, and he says his wife and kids like it as much or more. As the handoff goes, and Cedric Irvin content to take a lot of hits and keep running the clock. Maybe, who knows, Trump, down the line, Nick Saban will be in the Duffy Doherty category. The late great Duffy Doherty. He'll never have the quips that Duffy had. Duffy once showed up late for a booster meeting and told the boosters he was sorry he was late. One thing, though, he's never late for is practice, because it doesn't start till I get there. And here's Nick Saban, a man of few words, but they're choice ones, as he has motivated his team now, a team that has lost 6 games in his first 2 years as coach, each of the first 2 years, and was blasted by Stanford in the bowl game 37-0, 38-0. Cedric Irvin runs the ball, 2nd and 12. Here's Bob Davie.
Last time they lost 2 in a row, 94 at BC. This is BYU. Yeah, there are those constant references that new head coaches have to deal with. I think Bob Davie says, look, I don't mind the references to past coaches. I got my own deal coming here. That poor guy.
The Spartan fans, there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of tickets. If they had 150,000 in the stadium, they'd still need a lot more tickets. Michigan State plays to home crowds of over 70,000. Notre Dame sold out to crowds just over 80,000. One of the stars of the game, Cedric Irvin, in the straight ahead offense. He turns it a bit wide and gets to the 31-yard line. Stopped by Ivory Covington as we now have 1:05 left to play.
And I just saw that graphic that kind of raced by there, but you know, I'm not so sure that's not worth looking at again. He's returned a bunch of punts. He's returned a bunch of kickoffs. He threw on 214 total yards for a sophomore. And they got another one just like him. I mean, when Renaud comes in, the only thing we haven't seen Renaud do is throw it. There he is, 26.
And they have dropped a third very good back in Leroy McFadden, who scored 3 last week.
They don't need him.
He's been on the field. Leroy, good as he is, has to get his playing time whenever he can.
Yeah, Leroy's going to have to get his own football. Those other two guys using that one that's out on the field.
We have a moment. We'd like to thank the sports information director for Michigan State, John Lewandowski, and his staff, and also to the Notre Dame sports information director, John Heisler, and Mike Enright and their staff. As the punt is hit downfield, there comes Alan Rossum returning the punt for Notre Dame, looking for room. And the special teams play of Michigan State is another area that glows on this team. Absolutely shining special teams play. A 38-yard punt, an 8-yard return. Lamar Marshall on the tackle. Notre Dame comes out for one last try at just getting closer. The game is long gone for the Irish as they'll fall to 1-2. All-time Southern California, as the people from that school prefer to call it, has had 24 wins against Notre Dame. This ends an 8-game Michigan State losing streak to the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame having won 17 of the last 19 meetings between these two teams. The Spartan fans have waited a long time. Michigan State has not won a bowl game since 1990. It could be in a big one this year as Paulus downs the ball with 31 seconds to play.
The most difficult part of Bob Davie's job takes place in the next 2 weeks. And that is convincing the players that, you know, we're not winning. I want you to continue the effort. Listen to me. Let us keep coaching you. Do not lose the faith. Don't open any mail. Don't walk around. That's my fear, is that he'll lock himself in that office, which has happened to previous coaches here. You know, that bunker mentality. You can't do that.
Here's Paulus on the run, swings it out. And staying in bounds, they get the ball to the 39-yard line. That was Ken Berry to the 49-yard line. The time is almost gone as Notre Dame gets a first down on the play. Todd Schultz, a workmanlike job at quarterback for Michigan State. And they really feel, although he didn't have to throw today, that they're going to go about as far as he can take them, because there's going to be games where we're going to have big pass offense.
Well, no question, but Don, it's going to be on an infrequent basis, barring injury, because Michigan State can run both sides. They can run the sweep, trap, counter. That's a complete package. So you need a quarterback who understands the hand signals from the sideline and can call a snap count, turn it loose to the running backs. And he's had a terrific day.
This rivalry goes back to 1897. You have to go back to 1986 to find the last Spartan victory in this series. An interception return for a score led Michigan State to a 20-15 win. That was at Spartan Stadium. And the drought since, 8 straight losses. That was Lou Holtz's debut as Notre Dame coach. Holtz, and there's George Perlis, who was then coaching Michigan State.
George is still up there in East Lansing. You know, he's probably sitting in the parking lot of the stadium right now having hot dog with buddies. You're never going to root him out of East Lansing. He's there forever.
Now one of their broadcasters on some of the Spartan games is Ron Paulus. Drops to throw. Stands in over the middle. Gets his man. That is Malcolm Johnson. Spinning off. Working hard. But again, too little, far too late. A 13-yard gain on the play. 14 seconds to play. And a holding call is signaled against Notre Dame. I think what you said, though, Bob, is very significant about now they didn't know at Michigan State what they had. They said they would find out today. They know they've got a potentially great college football team. And conversely,
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the flag, still first down.
Bob Davie has to sell his guys to come back. Keep playing hard, as you said. He's already up the recruiting procedure as commitments from 4 top players early.
His most difficult job every year, Notre Dame, to most Notre Dame fans, is national champion. Some reality has to set in here at some point. This is not the bottom rung. It's going to get worse. But I do believe he's young enough, energetic enough, and salesman enough to build a dynasty here. But people just, they keep bending people's ears, and it makes it difficult for any coach to coach it.
Paulus fires, and that is the end of the line as the clock winds down and out. And here come the Spartans out onto the playing field, celebrating a tremendous win for Michigan State football. And Bob Davie's the first across the field to congratulate his counterpart Nick Saban and his team, as Michigan State played great football against undermanned Western Michigan and University of Memphis teams in the first 2 weeks, and now they come in against Notre Dame and have commanded this game from the outset.
And Don, it has certainly been one of their biggest road victories in years and years and years.
Now, while we have a moment, let's go back to Doc.
Thank you, Crick. Coach, what does a win like this on the road against a team like Notre Dame mean to your program?
Well, I think it means a lot to our program in a lot of ways from a national exposure standpoint and so forth. But I'm really happy for our kids. They worked hard. They really made an investment and a commitment to having a good team. And I'm really proud of the fact that they were able to overcome some of the intangible problems that we weren't able to do on the road in the past and show some maturity today and play well. And I'm really proud of our players. And there's a lot of people at Michigan State that's responsible for this, our administration and all of our faculty in the community, and I'm just happy for everyone. I'm happy for Spartans everywhere.
You said this was a measuring stick for your team. Where does your team measure up?
Excuse me?
You said this was a measuring stick for your team. You know about your team.
Well, I think we showed maturity today. We played. We didn't do everything that we needed to do. We didn't have to throw the ball. We ran it so effectively. We probably could have scored a few more points. But I was proud of the way our team played today, and I think, you know, maybe we can develop into the kind of team that could be a good football team by the end of the year when we go through the Big Ten.
What did you learn about your offense?
That we can run the ball, but I still have a lot of confidence in our ability to throw it, and Todd Schultz, and we still want to have balance and we want to mix it. And I think we'll have to when we play some other teams down the road.
Were you pretty sure that you could dominate on the offensive line against their defense?
I thought that their defense was not as physical maybe as what Notre Dame has been in the past. So our plan was to try to keep Ron Paulus off the field as much as we could and control the ball offensively. And we didn't do well in the red area, and we made a mistake right before halftime and giving them a turnover and a score. But I think our defense played well, and this is a great team win.
Congratulations, Coach.
All right.
Thank you, Doc. Nick Saban talks like he coaches very well. He summed that all up quickly as we look at the final stats here, Trump.
222 rushing to 61. I'm not sure how many rushes they had for the day, but it was over 50. Look at the time of possession. 353 yards. And when you physically dominate a football team to that limit on the offensive line, Don, you can do anything you want.
And now we're going to go back to the field of John Dockery to meet one of those powerful Spartan runners.
You said it, Don. Cedric Irvin. You know, you ran the ball, the team, over 50 times today. Was that the plan going in?
Yeah, most definitely. We try to control the tempo by running. We can establish the running game. We can always take over the game because the offensive line did a great job. They controlled the whole tempo, and it was much easier for us today.
You know, I know the Michigan State program is on the rise, obviously, in building. What does a win here mean to you guys and your program?
I mean, all the things in the world because, first of all, we get respect around the nation. You know, everybody in the nation was watching this game, so we came out and played our hearts out. And we just letting everybody know that we play football at Michigan State.
You certainly do. Congratulations on a big win for you.
All right, thanks.
All right. Crick?
Okay, John, as the Spartans have a lot to celebrate, but there's work to be done. And we're going to have the Sun America postgame report coming up, as here at South Bend, it's all Michigan State 23-7, and a storm and the report are next.
Thank you, Hannah, and I'm here with Bob Davie. Coach, thanks for coming back out. I know it's a tough day for you. How would you assess the game?
Well, I think we got beat by a better football team. I'd first of all like to give Nick Saban credit and Michigan State credit. They've been several years building their program back up, and to me it looks like it's built back up. You know, I was disappointed in the way we started the game. I thought we were really excited about playing. They ran the opening kickoff back to the 50-yard line, ended up scoring on that first possession. I think that took some wind out of us. We really had a hard time slowing them down in the first half. You know, we got a spark at the end of the first half with Corey Minor's interception and then some points. I really thought we were going to make a run at them in the second half, but then we just had total breakdowns in the second half on offense.
I thought you knew they were going to try and run the ball on you. They ran it something like 55 times for over 220 yards or so. Was there anything you could have done now that you got a few minutes to reflect to slow them up?
I don't think so. You know, we talked about during the first half just blitzing them, you know, trying to make things happen, but you're susceptible to giving up big plays against the run. You know, anytime you have to blitz to stop the run, you're in trouble. I just think we have to be honest. You know, we have to build and keep building, and you know, the only way I know to attack this situation is to be honest and just work, and that's what we're going to do.
You're 1-2 now. Tough situation, new coach. You come in here with lots of enthusiasm, lots of energy. How do you get your team back on track with a tough game against Michigan next week?
Well, there's no question. I mean, we're in the eye of the hurricane right now. The only way I know is to be honest and try to identify the problems. And, you know, I talked to the team before we started this season. I said, we're going to finish whatever we start. And a lot of people don't want to hear me talk right now, and I really don't feel like talking. But with hard work and by being honest and attacking problems, we're going to get the thing resolved.
One quick question, I'll let you go then, Coach. Do you stay with your quarterback? Do you stay with Paulus?
I'm going to stay with Ron Paulus. You know, he fought his off again. We had some breakdowns there at the end of the game, and anytime you're the quarterback, it looks like the quarterback always breaks down. He certainly didn't play as well today as he should have, but I'm staying with him.
Thank you for coming back out, Coach. Don Criqui, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Doc, and certainly to the coach for coming out in a time of tough times here at Notre Dame. And tonight on NBC, it's Lance Burton, Master Magician, and that'll be followed by a 2-hour special episode of The Pretender. That's tonight here on NBC. The final score, Michigan State dominating Notre Dame today by a score of 20-7. Now for Bob Trumpy and John Dockery, this is Don Criqui saying goodbye from Notre Dame. You've been watching Notre Dame football on NBC. It's Lou Saban, or Nick Saban's the nephew of Lou Saban.